Alrighty. And we should be live now, so welcome all of you viewers. Thank you for watching this, either if you're watching live and joining the chat, or if you're just watching on YouTube later. So, this is another one of the Tac-Com community discussion streams. We haven't had one of these in a really long time. I'm joined by fellow Tac-Com personette, Jess, down there. We've got CheeseCutta and Neon Velocity. I guess people familiar with my channel, or just my channel, may not know who you guys are yet. So, Cheese, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I've been a Gears player since the original, the OG player. Kind of not really big on social media till recently, and you see me on Twitter, on the Gears subreddit, on the forums, and comment a lot on Chaps' stuff, and talk to Neon a lot. So, yeah, big Gears player, big Gears fan.
Yeah, I was saying before we went live here, I was telling them that when I wanted to do a PvE thing, Cheese is one of the first names I thought of, where it's like, I need to get this guy on here. He is responding about PvE stuff all the time. It's probably going to be some really good discussion. So, Neon?
Yep. So, Neon Velocity, been playing Gears since November 7th, 2006. That day will always be etched in my brain. I used to do streams and stuff back in, like, Gears 3, but then I fell off with, like, college and stuff, and then as I've become more of an adult and older and had more privileges and more time, I wanted to go ahead and start making videos. So about a year ago to this month, give or take, I started making content specifically over board videos, like strategies for the speedrun guides. And then as we were starting to transition from 4 to 5, I was kind of just figuring out what I wanted to do. And then I fell in love with Escape. So since then, I've been doing tutorial-based guides for Escape, metal grinding, some news, and a lot of activity on Twitter. I think my only thing that is notable was discovering the game stack videos and going over the Carmines, and that was obviously right before Operation 3 launched, and then that's when I kind of like became a little bit more noticeable. But I'm on Reddit, I'm on Twitter, I am on the Gears forums, I'm on the Discords, I'm as active as I possibly can, probably a little too much at times. So.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, guys. And I guess, yeah, so I used to play PvE a lot, and Jess, I know you used to as well, and that's a lot of people know Tac-Com for the Horde guides, but we haven't really been playing PvE. So if you guys are interested in PvE content, check these other two people out. Like, Neon's making some awesome guides, Cheese is getting some really great discussion. Personally, I've been more of a PvP player, playing pretty casually. I'm not playing nearly as much as I used to. Jess, you're not playing that much either right now, are you? You're starting to get back into it a little.
No, but I really enjoyed playing those matches this morning.
Yeah.
I like stomping on those bad players.
Yeah. All right. Well, so with introductions out of the way, I guess this discussion's going to be all about Operation 4 and what our thoughts are of it. I guess before getting into the actual operation itself, I wanted to start talking about some of the timing of when things released for this. I saw the Coalition got a lot of flack online for, normally they announce the name of the operation, maybe like an image about 2 weeks beforehand, and then they release the trailer about a week beforehand. All of that got crunched into about a 1 week time period this time. What did you guys think of that approach?
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, anyone speak up.
I hated it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that it's not a good way to build hype. I mean, the fact that the community was able to go, the PC community in particular was able to go into the files and start discovering stuff before the trailer actually came out, I don't really think that's a smart, logical decision.
They just tweeted out that trailer, what, yesterday?
Yeah, I think yesterday was the first time they officially posted that trailer.
Yeah.
So definitely a communication breakdown there.
And definitely like releasing the patch notes on Monday and then releasing the trailer and the what's up on Tuesday, like seemed backwards.
Yeah, so that
I didn't get that.
It's so weird because normally they put out their announcement like a day beforehand of, hey, here's all the new maps, here's the new characters, here's their abilities, and here's all this information that you need to know. And then on the actual launch day, so it would have been on Tuesday, is when they put out the patch notes. And that way they can actually include all of the stuff that's pertinent to the unannounced things, because they would have been announced at that point.
Yeah.
It seemed really, really backwards to me. And like Neon said, it was kind of against the whole building hype thing. They should have started maybe a little bit earlier. I don't think they need to tell people like a month ahead of time, but a week seemed a little short.
You know, I see someone in the chat say that, is it because Liam's not there to handle it? And I think Liam cared a lot about Gears, but there's a way to promote new content. I mean, you see it everywhere, and I don't feel like we should just put that on him. And I mean, this is a community team, whether they're shorthanded or not. There are people there to help do this, and they need to create hype for this game. They need players back.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they were trying to delay stuff because they were trying to squeeze as much into the operation as possible, and they didn't want to announce stuff. But I don't know.
That's possible, but regardless, to me, it just seems as if the little teaser trailer, that snippet that came out a week before the launch, to me, the trailer was already there.
That was horrible tease. That was like 3 seconds or something.
And I also, to be really fair, I mean, I'm not one to complain too much about the developer streams. I understand Dana and the team's logic about like, we don't want to talk about future content. What they should have done, though, in my opinion, was drop all the teaser stuff, then put out the patch notes. Then when the actual operation launch, do a play with the developers. And while you're playing with the developers, you can have like Michael and all those folks over those particular subjects each individual day, as they did, but this week instead of last week. And then go over those contents and the notes so they could talk about, oh, here's the hows and the whys, and maybe here's why we did what we did, especially with the PvE changes, because that was pretty massive. And then the other ones were pretty much straightforward with, just fan reaction. I think that's
that would have made more sense.
A lot more sense, yeah, I agree.
And I would have loved to see, like, whenever they have someone like Michael Shannon on, get like Neon Cheese, get one of you guys who loves PvE and are really knowledgeable about it. Get you guys on there to actually ask questions and do follow-up and stuff, instead of just having, like, Dana thinks he knows what the question is, and sometimes he does, sometimes he misinterprets, but he asks the question, Michael answers, and it would be really nice if a fan could follow up and say, oh, no, but what about this? And I feel like that's a big thing that we're missing right now.
Agreed. I would say that since Liam's departure, there's only been 2 streams where the stream of my memory where you're actually interacting with the community in terms of there's someone playing the game, like your TCA partners, which whatever, and then you have just Dana usually going over the questions, and they're usually overlooked, and I would say they're fair questions. And what ends up happening is you're going for an hour or 2 hour stream, and you're just kind of getting people repeating the same questions, where, like you said, if you had someone already pre-filter these questions, like it could be you, it could be any of us, and then just have these questions. You do a good job on Reddit, to be honest. He was trying to do that last stream. I'll give him kudos there. The stream, was it yesterday or whatever, 2 days ago? He was trying to do that, but I feel like if we could have some pre-filtered questions and then have those individuals on the stream with them for the spin-off questions of those to help. I think you're absolutely right. They should be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree with that, because Dana misinterprets and doesn't fully understand a lot of stuff. It's pretty obvious.
I mean, if you think about, like, to me, Dana seems like he likes Gears, but the people watching those streams are like the hardcore fans who care about the fine details that I don't think that he plays it at a deep enough level to understand a lot of the fine details that we're asking about.
No. You could tell that in that stream with Michael. Like, Michael was excited. He was going on and on and on.
Yeah.
And
Dana that was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he got me excited just watching it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Dana
you want.
seemed like he was kind of staring off into space. Like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then that would be it.
I'll interject and just add some commentary to this. So I've said this a million times. I feel like I'm a broken record on this, but I have tweeted out, and I've said it in the last panel that we had just a few days ago, and I'll say it again today. there's other community streams out there for other games, but one that I personally like is MLB The Show, and the reason for it is because they have a group of people that are playing the game and interacting with the chat, and if there's anything missed, there's people checking. Right now, it appears to me it's Dana, the screen, who's ever the mystery person behind the screen, and they don't know anything because they're not, in my opinion, they don't understand the game either. So it's like all the fine details don't get answered, or when they do get kind of teased, it's usually like, well, I don't know how to answer that, or I'll flag it, or I'll be kind of sarcastic and let it go. I don't really like that. Plus the developer streams don't retain you to stay, so the numbers drop, so there's really no information going to be provided anyways.
And you know what else I don't like is, like, he's always saying, oh yeah, I'll check with the team about that. But what really bothered me was this last one. He says, hey, can you make a note to write that down? Yeah, write that long thing down that Ace wrote. And I'm just thinking, why aren't you writing them down all the time? Like, are you just saying that you're going to check, or are you actually going to check?
Yeah, I caught
Sorry, that bothered me.
No, I got that
happens
too.
all the time.
Yeah, no, you're fair. It's 100% fair criticism.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we started to go off on a little tangent about the developer streams, but I think it was all about sort of that launch timing and how they were having people on and discussing this stuff. We think it could have been dealt with a little bit better. But let's move on to the actual content of the operation itself. We'll start with the characters, which they advertised a big thing. This is the largest single drop of characters we've ever had, which technically, I guess it's true. We have 6 characters. What is it? It's UIR, Dom, Paddock, Karn, Grenadier, and who am I missing?
Jinbot.
Jinbot.
And there's still a mystery one to go.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, there's
One mystery one, because the other one was revealed.
Srock. Srock is going to be coming mid-season. Yeah. We might get... Dana said it might be more than 2, it might be less than 2 that come mid-season. That was just a placeholder thing. So we don't know what's coming mid-season. I was really expecting Anya to be a mid-season drop. What do you guys... Before we get into the whole PvE type thing in classes, what do you think of the actual characters that we got?
Pretty good overall. I'm not really a fan of Jinbot because that's just kind of silly to me, but whatever. I feel like it was already a model in the game, so why not throw it in? I feel like if they were going to go with the whole brothers to the end, including Dom, and basically have all of Delta Squad, there's just one person missing now. Well, really 2 from the original game. You have Hoffman, who I believe was going to be coming into the game, and then you still have Kim. But I would still like to see characters that were like Alex Brand that only made an appearance once. I would like to have those type of characters in the game.
There's so many characters to choose from, and it's really cool that they're doing things like with the comic characters like Jermad and Srock. Yeah. But like you said, like we'd love to see some of the characters that we've grown to love from the books or the comics. And
is Srock going to be a skin for Rom? That's what people in chat are saying.
I don't know. I mean, that's future content, chaps. We can't talk about it.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be his own character, but I don't know. But yeah, there's like you were saying, there's so many characters out there. We got Dizzy,
we still got Dizzy, Kim,
Ty,
Ty,
Jace, Barrick,
Griffin,
Valera, Alicia Valera.
Bernie. You got Bernie.
Oh, Bernie,
Griffin. Yep. I mean, there's tons, and then you still got, and that's just COG side. You're not even talking Locust, Lambent. All that side of the equation either.
On top of that, it's just base COG side. There's all of the the expanded universe. Like, what was Dizzy like before he joined the COG? That type of skin.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I feel like the character drop, while it is the largest, I don't think it's something that we should be going over crazy with, given the fact that some of them and were already in the game, just not in multiplayer or versus.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like it's a hype mechanic, but in reality, if you look at it, you're like, okay, Dom was probably already made, given that Dom is Dom, right? And then Paddock was in the campaign. So those are 2 characters, in my opinion, that were already done, but they're staggering the content out. Then Jinbot, that's 3 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost positive Paddock has been done for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, like the class and everything, I'd be willing to bet it was pretty much.
Yeah.
It's been done for months.
I will say Karn, That's a pretty big deal, I think.
That bothered me that it wasn't more pronounced in the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think about Judgment. I don't care. This is a character that's been in the series that we've never had in multiplayer, and I see the trailer, and he's there, and no one says anything.
Yeah. And he's a really cool-looking character, too.
He is. His face is terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sorry, Greatest Journey made a good point. I mean, the UIR were already in the game, too. So,
yeah.
There's that.
That's true.
He mentioned
Forgot about
Reyna.
them.
The fact that we still don't have a Reyna skin.
I don't know why.
I'm wondering if they're saving that for, like, the 1 year point or something, because it is a spoiler for campaign, so perhaps they didn't want to put something in the multiplayer at first that was spoiling the campaign, and maybe they thought, like, okay, the 1 year mark or something will be the time where we're finally okay with putting that in.
Good point, but
Maybe,
go ahead.
It's been like, what?
10 months?
10 months?
Wasn't this already kind of like on like Ninja's stream, like already shown like the first day since he was playing?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like that guy's got millions of people watching him, whether it's on whatever service he's on at the time. So,
yeah. Do you guys have anything else character related that you want to bring up? I will say the UIR Cosmonaut is awesome.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Again, campaign but sick. It should have been in the game.
Just someone in the chat mentioned the Gears Tactics characters. It would have been a cool way to promote Tactics, maybe.
Yeah, agreed.
Crossover character.
I was kind of surprised.
Operation 5, when it goes on to the Xbox. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
That's what I think, too.
You think
that's a perfect way to say it.
Just Gabe? Or
Gabe, Sid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's where they'll stop. Oh, and they'll give me my Locust Sniper finally.
Alright, so on to maps. So we have Blood Drive and Checkout as returning maps. And we have, what is it, Reactor and is it Overload?
Overload, yep.
Okay. So let's start with Blood Drive and Checkout. Oh, actually, we'll start with River. So, for those who don't know, River was found in the game files by the PC community. Or, not River, but some folders for River, referencing River. What do you guys think about that? Do you think we're going to be getting River?
I hope it's a troll.
That's my thought, is that it's a troll.
I don't know. I think it's in their best interest for the community not to put a troll and then, like, not put it in the game, given the fact that everybody's wanted it for how many years now?
Yeah.
And it's only made an appearance once, so it's a good way to get people to come back, because that is a fun map, now that smoke grenades don't do what they do.
I mean, Epic tested it for Gears 3, and TC tested it for Gears 4, and both companies said it didn't fit with the current meta. I don't know. I sort of agree with them, or I mean, I haven't played it, but
who said that though?
Both companies, like Epic, said that, and the Coalition said it.
No,
about
but
Gears 4.
Wasn't it Ryan that particularly said that about?
Oh, I don't know. I think they could change the map too.
Yeah, they could do that.
Yeah, maybe it will come, but I don't know. I personally think it's a troll, and I think it would be kind of funny if it was a troll, just to, like, you're not supposed. They don't want people looking at game files, so it would be just a funny troll for the people looking at game files.
It could definitely be a troll maneuver on their end, but I could also see them being silly enough to put it in the game files to where it's actually there. To be like, if it's not there, great. If it's there, I'll be excited.
Yeah.
And didn't Dana say that there's a map coming that hasn't been redone before, which River would fit that criteria?
Did he specify that it wasn't River? I thought that he said on stream at one point.
I don't remember. I don't remember him saying that.
Okay, maybe he didn't. All right. Well, we'll move on from River. Blood Drive and Checkout. Cheese, I guess we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the inclusion of those maps?
I have a love-hate relationship with Blood Drive. Like, in terms of playing it on Horde, I really like it. I actually played it last night. It's really great. I can't stand it in PvP. I'm tired of it. We've been playing it since Gears 2. Like I'm not a huge fan of it. Checkout I really like. I've played Horde and Horde Frenzy on it, and played a little King of the Hill on it.
Do you like
I
Horde
really
on
like
Checkout?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've only done it. I did one of each, regular Horde and Frenzy. It's
Okay.
pretty good. But yeah, I like Checkout. I like Blood Drive for Horde. I hate it for PvP. Checkout I like fine.
I will say Blood Drive is now officially the Gears game that's been in the most games. We've had it more than Gridlock now, so
yeah,
that's pretty crazy. Jess, what do you think of those two maps?
I like Checkout. Checkout's a good map. I kind of wish they would have used the Judgment Blood Drive, just because it's for more, not necessarily for Horde. I mean, I like Blood Drive for Horde, the original, but for multiplayer it gets a little campy, and I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be interested in...
I would like to see how their take on it would be.
Yeah. I remember I wasn't a huge fan of the Judgment Blood Drive, but I would like to see them have done a different take on Blood Drive, perhaps, to reduce the camping. Because, just like you, I love Checkout. I'm not a fan of Blood Drive. Even when I used to play Horde all the time, we never really played on Blood Drive that much. So, I mean, it seems like it's designed to be really good for Horde.
It is.
Yeah, it's... do you play at the top of the stairs, Cheese?
Of course.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. They had an issue, I think, in 4 where if you set the fabricator at the top of the stairs, they could spawn behind you in the room.
Yeah.
I believe that was fixed because we didn't run into that issue last night.
Nice. So Neon, what do you take on those two?
Blood Drive is still campy-ish. I've only played King of the Hill in it ranked, and it wasn't a really great experience, because I feel like with the way that the game currently plays on that map is you can really set up anywhere.
Yeah.
And just even with the way that the Lancer plays today, which there's all kinds of stuff spinning out on that from yesterday, but you can really just do some carnage with the Lancer, and then if you just have map domination, it's over from the get-go. It's really hard to take that advantage back. So I'm not really a fan of Blood Drive in terms of competitive play, but it is a nice map. But I don't think it should be the most returned map over a map such as Gridlock, quite honestly. So it's not my map of choice. I would rather see other maps from Gears 2 make their return, not like River, but other maps.
Yeah, Gears 2 had some amazing maps.
Yeah. I would much rather see other maps that haven't made their return instead of a game that's been in there since Gears 2. So, in terms of Checkout, I will never tell you no to Checkout. It's one of the best maps for everything. I think it's tons of fun, and and if you're playing super competitively, it can get very, very sweaty really quick. And I like that because it's short. It's not a lot of running. You're just always in action. If you're not in action, it's very cool. You can get in action fairly close, or quickly, I should say. And then, of course, for PvE and stuff of that sort, it's, again, tight quarters, so you can, go through it fairly quickly, which I like. So in terms of those two, overall decent map selection, I'm good with Checkout the most.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Reactor. Have you guys been able to play much on that?
I played one King of the Hill match on it, and it was okay. I tried playing Horde, and everybody quit right off the bat, so it didn't really go well. So that's been my experience with Reactor. It seemed like I tried playing Quick Play this morning, and nobody would vote for it for some reason. So, not much experience on it yet.
I saw a bunch of people on Twitter saying, and then we've got someone in the chat there saying, Reactor is good. I've seen a lot of people really like Reactor, so it's interesting that people weren't voting for it.
I really like it.
I know we've played twice on it now. Well, I don't know if you've played without me, but we played a Guardian match on it, and that was my first time playing on it, and I was pretty lost because I wasn't too familiar with the layout of the map yet. So when I spawned in, I was like, wait, where am I? And then King of the Hill, I started to get the lay of the land a little bit better. I don't know. I've only played 2 matches on it, so it's hard for me to really judge it too much. I did enjoy the King of the Hill match, though, but maybe that's just because we won and trashed. Or
We stomped him.
We stomped that one guy who was trash talking us. But Neon.
Yeah. So bear with me on this one. I have not played an actual ranked or PvE match on the map. I do think it looks nice. It's kind of that Return to the Darkness type map, which is nice to have. It's not lighted up a lot, so I like that.
It reminds me of Process.
That's a map that I would like to see back.
I agree. I love Process.
I think if it's not capable for 5v5, they should expand on it. But it's a great map and it's fun to play.
Agreed.
However, I want to go back and say something because there's actually something that developed on my timeline. I retweeted it. Some people caught attention to it, but I'm going to flag it, and bring up some stuff on this because this is actually interesting. Like, I don't know who saw this, but it caught my attention. So, I could be butchering the name here. So, Ty Busser was a developer at the Coalition, and. I'm hard. Okay, I'll go off the camera. So, told you. So, anyways, okay, I'll come back on. Sorry. So, what was interesting about all of this is that when I posted the pictures of the in-game screenshots, once the operation went live, like a day or two later, Ty responded to me and was talking about he was really impressed with what the Coalition did to the map. And that the map was actually finalized twice. This map was done. It was done before the launch of Gears 5, which
the blockout was done, right?
Yeah. Basically, it was done though, is what he was getting to, in my understanding, right? I don't know if you saw the tweets. Did you see those tweets?
I took that as the blockout and maybe some initial the final arting was not done on the map.
Okay, art. So maybe it was art then. Okay.
Yeah, art was missing, but the overall flow of the map and it was playable, just not arted yet. That's how I understood it. But
gotcha. Okay, maybe I misread. It's been a few days since I've looked at it, but they've completed the map twice, and the fact that a developer that used to work at the Coalition decided to take their time and kind of go over the thought process of the design of the map actually makes me want to go play the map more. And what I do think is cool and unique is the pipes in the middle, where you can actually get being on them. That's a cool feature, and it's environmental, but it's not too intrusive like other maps we've seen in prior games or even in this one. So I think that it's a fun map. But if anybody hasn't seen those tweets and you're curious about what a person like himself goes through to design a map, it'll make you appreciate it quite a bit more. Yeah, it was kind of cool to hear the background story, but I have not played it yet.
Okay. So I guess we'll move on to Overload, which is, now when you load up a Horde lobby, I love that Overload is the first map that comes up in there now. Makes it really easy if you're trying to get those PvE challenges out of the way. You just start match. So I actually haven't played a Horde match on it yet. So I assume you guys have. You want to talk about your experience with it? You like it as a Horde map?
Yeah, I think it's great, actually. It's small, and I think it's going to encourage some speed runs, depending on your setup. But I've played, I think, 3 or 4 matches on it, mostly Frenzy. It's well done. I like it. I think that I want to see more of them. It was a nice surprise. Yeah. I like the fact that they had what you said. When you go into Horde, it's the featured map, and you can go in and select what you want in public. I really like that. I think it's a nice surprise.
Neon, have you played on it yet?
I've done some grinding medals on it.
All right.
Yeah.
But I want to add to this. This is actually a really cool thing that they're doing here. On the surface level, it sounds kind of like, whatever. They're just reusing assets. But when you make games, or really when you do anything in life, you want to make something that you can use over and over and over because you get high return on it, right? That's why the tile system is actually a good thing for the Coalition, because while this is a map that's kind of a mashup of things that we've seen in Escape, it is cool to kind of see it come into Horde and be played out in a good sense, because I think what could happen is the community, because you're supposed to get the map builder, hasn't happened yet, but it would be cool to have something like Forge from Halo with the map builder, where we as a community can say, okay, this is a really cool setup. We can use this for Horde or whatever we want to do. and then if TC says, okay, yes, let's bring this into the base game, or have like a rotating style tile-based horde map, that would be really cool because it would keep players wanting to play the game. In terms of horde, and you're not getting repetitive doing speed runs or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's a fun map. It's cool. I've played probably 25 waves on it, but it was more just kind of grinding medals. But the potential of what they're doing with that, there's so much more they can do. And I would hope that they go further with it.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing more of that. I don't think we're going to be seeing the map builder go for Horde and Versus go live in Operation 5.
Nope.
But I think we will probably be getting another Horde map, maybe even a Versus map made with these tiles. So, Cheese, you actually played a match. It's a very small map. Did you feel... Could you feel that it was small? Did you feel like you were getting overrun at all on it?
The first time I played it, yes. Like, I came loaded in, had no idea where to set the fabricator, no idea what was going on. We got overwhelmed, I think, on wave 2 or 3. This was on frenzy. Like, we got obliterated.
What difficulty?
This was on inconceivable.
Okay.
Well, it also doesn't help when there's, the lobbies are filled with level 1 paddocks, at least the first day. But the second time I went in with one of my friends, we actually set the fab in one of the spawns, and you could set up your base, your barriers, and everything, and the taps are set around that, and you can, extend the base out as you keep going. But yeah, you can get overwhelmed. They change. I know we'll get into more PvE stuff, but they changed the behavior of the wardens to where they're like ultra aggressive now. So when you see a warden, it like just comes running and stomps right in front of you. And that was the first time it happened to me, was on that map. And yeah.
What classes were you using? Just when you had more success, just out of curiosity.
The last time I did it, I was Dill. I actually built the base. I was Lizzie another time. I think I was Kate, and I played it as JD.
Is it always wardens, or is there alternating?
There's alternating, but I've noticed it seemed like the warden's always the first one for some reason. I don't know if that's constant. It's just my experience. It seemed like wardens are always on wave 4.
I would feel like matriarchs or something like that shouldn't be in these smaller maps.
I haven't seen one.
Okay.
I've seen a snatcher.
When you bring in those matriarchs, it's like, well, there goes time.
Yeah.
All my time gone in 5 minutes, unless you have a Kate or somebody that bleed it in the back, or a Lizzie with a silverback or something.
Yeah, if it doesn't matter what base you have built at that point, it just destroys everything.
Yeah.
I've only seen warden and snatchers right now, but anyway, and a carrier, but that's it.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess I'll switch the topics around a little bit. We're talking about PvE. We might as well just go in and let's talk about the PvE changes. I want to start out with we already hit on characters, but the fact that we only have one new class right now for Operation 4. It is nice that Operation 5 is going to open it up, but the fact that Operation 4 only came in with one class, do you think that is, I'll just say acceptable? Do you think that's acceptable?
No.
No. There's no reason for it. I mean, I said this in the panel. This is a fact. I can go pull up my phone right now, and I could go on my computer and go play Gears Pop and have more classes, have more diversity, and you can use those as a baseline for what the characters in Gears Pop should be, and their roles and their support roles should be, in terms of how it could play into this game potentially. They have a good foundation from Gears Pop. If you're confused or you don't have enough ideas, steal it from Gears Pop. That's all you got to do.
It's hard for me to believe that they didn't have Dom already developed as a class.
Yeah. He had to have been made. He had to have been in the game.
That's a big miss, not having two classes. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't find it acceptable. And Dana, I think when I listened to some of the stream, Dana was like, well, not focusing on classes, we were able to get all this other stuff done. And I'm like, would designing these classes take that much of your resources to do? You're only putting out 2 every 3-4 months.
And one thing, I don't remember where I said this, maybe it was on the last panel we did, is they're opening up classes in Operation 5 so that it's not really linked to a character anymore. They've already announced that it's not going to be linked to a character anymore, so they really, if they wanted to make Dom playable in PvE, it didn't need to really be a Dom-centric class. They could have just had it be a more generalized thing that could work for anybody. I don't know.
It seemed as if, and I want to say it was Dan or Michael, but they said specifically, and I can't remember exact words, but I'm like very close with this, is that it was basically ready to go. But they wanted to make sure and ensure that there was no like bugs or glitches or anything like that with the delinking of the characters. But the fact that they also have just implemented a few filler characters, as much as I like Grace, her class was basically told as to be a filler class. Like, instead of focusing on the ones that matter, they were like, well, we got this, who is it, Skydance? I can't remember who owns it.
Skydance.
So they're gonna give us some money to go promote their movie, so we need to make a class. What's it gonna be? Like, I feel like they rushed on the front end of this game. That's why we're seeing everything we're seeing now, but it's just unacceptable. There's no reason. I think there's no way that Dom wasn't ready to go.
So in their defense, they did say that they were hoping to get that delinking of classes and characters in for Operation 4. So if that was the case, they may have not focused on classes because they were spending so much of their resources trying to get that class delinking ready to go, and they just didn't have enough time, so it suffered.
Yeah, Greatest Journey made a good point. Grace is a paid character. Like, she doesn't have a full set of cards. They didn't touch any of the Terminator Halo characters at all with the balance pass, and my point is like, why should I pay for her?
Well, so they don't want it to be pay to win, so they intentionally make those a little weaker. But
I know, but it's like, just bump it up a little bit, or so give it a little.
We're delinking classes now. I think that's what you're getting to. Is there's a delinking of classes, and you already have this class base. Some suffer more than others, so I think that's the issue. But it's just not acceptable that we only have a couple classes almost a year into the game.
So even when, I was starting to think about, like, all right, they were putting all these resources towards delinking stuff. In Operation 5, when it finally is delinked, do you think that they still need to have 2 classes come out in that operation?
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
New ways to play the game. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That was my thought as well.
Do you think they will, though?
No. I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
I don't. I would be shocked if there's more than one. I definitely believe there will be one. I'll be shocked if there's more than one.
Well, start pushing them.
What needs to happen though is there's a bunch of quality of life changes that also need to happen along in specifics, like for Horde and the character classes, because there's going to be a whole mess and confusion. I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but just something to note that it's something that we as a community need to start, like, hey, pushing to the coalition, like, okay, we're delinking these characters, but right now there's no way to check what other people are actually doing with their cards and how they're using them. So there needs to be some type of mechanic to force people to kind of play a certain way until they're experienced enough to let go of the handlebars. I hate kind of saying that, but I don't want to have people playing as one of the most OP classes and then running the dumbest cards of life. I'm sorry. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Speaking of the quality of life things, one thing that drives me insane for Horde and Escape is the way that you select your cards in the lobby compared to the Gears 5 or Gears 4 system. Like, so Gears 4, you went in and you saw all of your cards and you pressed A over it and it toggled it on or toggled it off. Right. In this one, you have to go to each individual card slot and say, I want to pick this one. I want to pick that one. And
we've all known the UI has been horrible in this game.
Yeah, the UI is pretty bad.
Well, anytime you have 5 cards selected and then you go select another one, you don't know which one got added or actually removed, and you're like, wait, where did the card I just select go?
Yeah.
Or where's the one I didn't want removed? It just disappeared. It's just bad. It's just bad.
And it's things like that I know I brought that up like right at launch, but I didn't really push on it that hard. But if they're going through this process of delinking classes from characters, they're going to need to do some UI updates to that Horde lobby. I think right now is a good time that if anyone out there has any issues with the UI for that Horde lobby, this is a good time to push those issues and try and get them addressed for Operation 5.
I would add to that, take an in-game screenshot. Take a screenshot of the UI. 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 Take a sc use MS Paint for God's sakes, and just put whatever you believe. Put something on the screen that would make your life easier, and give them some type of visual image to do so. I did that with the fabricator. I was like, look, let me allow as a keyboard player plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to actually buy this item, and then give me like, let me use my arrows to go through the pages on the fab. Like I shouldn't have to click 100 times while a matriarch's running at me, for example. I shouldn't have to do that. Like, that's just in game, but take a picture or screenshot and then make your edits.
So speaking of those fabricator purchases, have you seen the number of people who are complaining that JD can't buy a GL anymore because they don't realize that you have to scroll down the list? Because everyone can purchase anything now. They don't realize that you can scroll through the list and see more weapons.
It's a little ways down. That's true.
Yeah. It would be cool if you could prioritize weapons, and it's like, I want these weapons to be favorites at the top of the list.
Yeah, that would be good.
It should be categorized based off the type of way that the bullets come out. Like, does it have explosive rounds or something like that? Maybe you could do something like that. I'm not sure, but thoughts.
Okay, so we covered classes and stuff a little bit, but let's talk about some of the changes that they made to the mode. Cheese, we'll start with you. You can basically anything PvE related you want to talk about. Just go for it, man.
Okay. I've been pretty impressed so far with the first 4 or 5 days playing it. It's feels fresh. That there's been a change to the meta. They buffed up a lot of characters. I was nervous going into this before Tuesday. I was nervous thinking, were engineers going to be redundant? Were they going to be there just to repair other players' fortifications? Was anybody going to deposit? Were they just going to spend all their stuff on perks? And for the first day, it was kind of a mixed bag. But recently, playing on higher level difficulties, everybody kind of knows what's going on. Engineers are needed more than ever. I don't know if this was said in the patch notes. I know they changed one of the modifiers for upgrading fortifications, but like if you upgrade sentries or weapon lockers, it goes up exponentially if you're not an engineer. Like, I think the weapon locker, it used to be 4,500 to upgrade it, 4,500 power each upgrade, and it's 7,000 now. Like, it goes up.
Okay.
But I mean, those are like little changes. I guess people have accustomed to now. You do need an engineer for those discounts. It's more important now than ever. I know some people were. I guess there's some that are glad JD got nerfed. Some are upset he got nerfed. After a few days, he's still OP. He's still good.
Is he? Okay. Do you have a JD in every lobby still?
Just about, yeah.
Okay. Do you feel that you need the JD in every lobby?
Not really, no. On some maps, maybe, and depending on the players you're playing with, I guess.
Yeah. The cards.
Yeah, I mean, they had a little nerf to his launcher capacity. It's percentage based now. So I think you can only get 6 boom and 6 GLs out of it now versus 8. But he's still OP. I mean, he's still good. Foz is really good now. Foz is I played.
What did they do to buff him?
Increase damage.
Yeah, mostly his perks. Like, he has perks to where it could only go up, I think, to 15% critical damage. Right now it goes up to 50. And he gets extra 50% precision weapon damage. He gets 100% ammo capacity. So he has 30 rounds for his long shot. And I played with one last night. I think they actually buffed the splash damage on the explosive critical hit too. So Foz is a beast. Kate is still really good. Clayton is wow. Like Clayton.
Clayton.
Clayton's pretty amazing. I have not got to test him with the mulcher and the whole heavy ammo capacity stuff yet, but he's got bleed on his torque bow now. He's a beast. Lizzie is really good. Everybody, you're gonna go in lobbies where Lizzie builds barriers and and everything gets frozen. Trying to think of who else. My only real complaint with this right now is that Dell was just kind of thrown into escape. He doesn't really have any combat card.
I
And I know Michael said that they would probably look into that, but I felt like he's kind of like how Marcus was just thrown in there with Operation 2. He's just put into the mode. It's kind of unfortunate, but I mean, overall, I'm having a blast playing it. I'm still trying to learn some more ins and outs of it, but I think the meta is shift. Oh, and I forgot to touch on Marcus. Marcus is an absolute beast.
Yep.
His ult bypasses reload and gives you constant active rounds.
Wait, it bypasses reload?
Yeah,
you can gun. You can just keep going.
Just go. Yeah,
Nice.
you don't have to reload, and everything is active.
Headshot.
Yeah, and he has a headshot perk now that goes up, or not a perk, a card.
Can you use can Foz just take his long shot and just no reload, just keep hammering away with Marcus's ult there?
Yes.
Getting perfect headshot.
Yes,
that's pretty tight.
Legend. Yeah.
With the explosive and everything, it's Marcus. If you go in with a retro on the right map, an open map, and just sit there and hold down the trigger, blind fire over it with a headshot perk, everything, you will destroy everything.
That's pretty cool.
And you can still keep it going, but for in between waves, as long as everybody skips. I chained it for about 20 waves in a row, and it's pretty ridiculous. And to go into escape real quick, Kate is really good. I tweeted Neon at this. Kate is really good in escape because there's so many shotguns. So and then if everything goes to hell, she just goes invisible and says "see you later." Goes in and executes everybody. I already touched on Dill. Foz is really good in escape too, because of the plenty of M bars, plenty of long shots. And Michael was right. If you hit your X-ray, it lights up like a Christmas tree. You just see every silhouette.
I really wanted to load into some Escape Hive and just maybe the Gauntlet or something, and just turn that on right at the beginning. And
you'll be amazed, especially if you do it in the first little part. You'll just see everything. It's pretty amazing.
It's cool that they actually load in all the characters like that.
Yeah, it's good. I'm really happy with the PvE stuff right now. I think now I'm just ready to get some more variety with the events and with different options in private matches. But I think this is a really, really nice PvE update.
Yeah. So Neon, what about anything to add on that?
Yeah, I got a few things. I'll start with the going back, kind of circling back to the UI thing. I'm not really happy right now with Marcus's changes, where you still have the old text language on the card, and then you read the description, and for the new updates to it, it gets kind of confusing. I'm not sure if anybody has actually seen that, but they'll read a certain language from the prior updates, and then now it's been updated with 0 or 0.00060 or whatever, and it's what does that even mean in comparison to what you were saying last time? You have to get into the math, and I think that's a little confusing for most players, to be quite honest, if you're not really into the analytical thinking or numbers. So I don't really like that from the player perspective. I would hands down agree. I can't say too much more on certain characters like Cheese spoke to, but Marcus, he's solid in both now. If you get the right cards and they're leveled up, you can have a grand time for you and your teammates. And what's also fun is having. I'm going to talk about Kate in particular. You touched on it a little bit, but not a lot. But in Escape now, with certain cards that she has, if you execute an enemy, which is a really valuable thing to do in Escape, even on the higher difficulties, because it's an instant kill. You're not wasting ammo, because ammo is usually limited anyways. You get stim back. And then on top of it, you get depending on what level your cards are, you can have almost 200% of stim once you start increasing. So having Kate in Escape, which should have been there from launch anyways, having these characters move on over is just fantastic for the game. What I would like to see, and I haven't had a chance to do it, so if Cheese or any of you have seen this, is I heard a lot of good talk about Lonnie moving her way on into Horde.
That looks really fun, based on the few things I've read.
I haven't had a chance to play Lonnie. I have Lonnie's cards all level 5 because of Escape, but I haven't had a chance to play her. Has anybody seen how she's performing in terms of like with that?
I have not seen her in a single lobby yet.
I feel like Overload would be really good for it too, being at very close quarters.
Yeah, especially if you get her Venom Bleed perk and use Shock Chain and do all that. But yeah, I'll probably do that tonight. I just haven't got to her yet. But yeah, that's kind of surprising. I haven't seen her. I haven't seen Keegan either in Horde.
I don't think you'll see a lot of like. I almost want to make one of those S tier charts and start like, putting the character there to say like, oh, this is the one you should be using. But you know, I think overall the overwhelming majority of the characters did see upgrades, which was great. I do like the reworks of the perks for most of the characters. I've been playing a lot of Kate in Horde when doing some grinding, and having Kate get like 50% additional damage through her perks and then like 50% movement speed. That's like, I actually want to spend money on perks instead of giving it over to the engineers all the time, because like it makes you like, okay, this could be really
so that's what I was going to say is, so it seems like they fixed that curve now for the perks, and it's not some crazy exponential thing, and it actually has value of going up to those really high levels. Have you guys both found that it continues to be valuable to keep upgrading those perks?
Yes.
It's way more than it was.
Yeah, because what was it? Level 1 was like a 10%, and then after
it was
that,
like
it would
13 or 12 or something.
Yeah, it would go 3% up until like level 7, then it would go to 1%. But now it's if it starts at 5%, each increment is 5%, and if it starts at 10, each increment's 10%. So it's Michael was right. He really put the value on perks. They are worth it now.
And then the energy taps, I would say that there's definitely some value in getting those.
Yes.
I wouldn't say having like 3 or 4, but I could definitely say if you can hold down 2, which usually, if you know the map and you can have control over a map in Horde, like once you play with experienced players, you kind of know like the ins and outs of where they're going to spawn, because you can force spawn the things, especially on certain maps, and you have multiple of those taps. It's a great day for you too. I think overall, though, this is a great update. I feel like the engineers, in terms of, like you said, Dell, there was no thought process, which kind of makes me sad to see, because Dell was actually one of the top engineers in Horde prior to Operation 4. But he has, like, his ultimate ability has no place in Horde or Escape.
It didn't have any place at launch either.
It's pathetic.
It's just, I think that they should. I get what they were doing, because he's kind of like a Baird in a way. He likes to tinker with things, but I should probably be a little bit more reworked, or change an ultimate to where it's actually like something that someone wants to use, and everything else can maybe stay the same.
Yeah.
Overall, though, great PvE update, and I suspect that Operation 5 will bring a lot more changes.
Yeah.
Someone in chat mentioned level 6 cards, because Michael hyped those up a little bit and said that it was going to be a pretty decent thing. It's not.
No. He's right. Yeah, some of them aren't. I was expecting a little bit more, and they're not. Some are like 2 or 3%. Some of them aren't much more of a bigger upgrade than what you had.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but certain cards at level 5 are now lower than they were prior to Operation 4.
I think they had to do that in order to make this jump more worth it.
But that goes into the miscommunication and setting an expectation, which I know that's hard to do, because overall it is probably more of a buff or proper progression upwards to a level 6 card. But when you see like your top tier characters bleed damage at level 5 go to like half of what it was.
Really?
I wouldn't say it's almost half. I think Kate's bleed at level 5 on certain ones got cut in almost half. I believe it went from like, I can't remember exact specific numbers because I don't have it in front of me, but yeah.
Okay.
I went back and looked at Lonnie and Mac and Escape for their Venom cards, their Venom Resistance or whatever it was, and I noticed the text on them. It looked like they got cut in half, and there was no mention of that in the patch notes.
Wow.
But they Michael said on the forums that was a text change, and I'm curious about that. Like, I haven't really played with them a whole lot to test it, but it's Be a little curious on that.
Yeah.
And I was actually surprised that Cole didn't get. I don't want to say nerfed, but I'm surprised Cole didn't get touched in this.
Did he not get touched? I actually never. I unlocked Cole right before Operation 4 launched. So yesterday was my first time playing as Cole. I started trying to run some escape stuff and level him up.
There's literally no mention of Cole being touched.
Yeah.
And quite honestly,
he needs to be touched.
Well, I don't know how much I can say because there was a particular game night where the developers were very much aware of Cole, and the fact that Cole never got touched just tells me that it was kind of intentional for Cole to be where he is today. I think Cole's in the right spot.
Yeah, Cole is, I'll say this, Cole is pretty powerful in Escape if you are running the right cards.
People solo master everything as Cole.
Yeah. He is pretty much invincible.
If you have your ultimate ability, you have a high chance of doing so.
Yes, you're pretty much invincible, and yeah, I'm pretty shocked he wasn't touched at all.
Yeah.
But maybe he's right. Maybe that is maybe that was intentional.
He is the true tank in this game.
He is.
Yeah, he is. Let's see. Do you have any other like PvE thoughts that you wanted to bring up? Because I was going to shift gears a little bit here.
I just got to go back and just say, anybody that has issues and things of that sort, not to complain, but actually just for the love of God, just provide proper feedback and explain why you feel something isn't right. Because Cheese and I talk through DMs all the time because our talk gets fairly technical at times. And I feel like the community just says like, oh, I don't like this. And then they don't explain why. Like they don't go into detail and elaborate on why it's not working properly or what's happening. I think that if there's issues with characters such as Grace, for example, we need to come up with proper solutions to help the coalition maybe up that character because it is a paid character, for example. Same thing with maybe Sarah Connor. You can do the same thing with Cat. Cat's useless and everything. Has no purpose of being a class in this game. Again, so I just feel as if the class base has to. We need to up all the classes, but at the same time, if you can't adjust too much, like start providing proper feedback and also get rid of the text changes are bad. But I also want to say I've talked about this a few times, and I've reached out to Michael through Twitter and said there's cards like Brothers to the End or Sisters to the End with Lizzie or whatever, or Daddy's Boy or whatever with Marcus and JD. What I would like to see, and I'll probably do some mock-up soon, is taking a screenshot of the game and saying, okay, what is the true distance of the Unreal Engine unit? I think that's what they call it. And say, how long is 10 meters in the game? I don't know what that is. I should have a visual indicator when I'm playing something real time to tell me that.
I think the height of a character is like 2 meters or something like that.
Well, now that checkouts in the game, we can figure out height and stuff.
Yeah, that's how we did all of our measurements in Gears 4, was use checkout because we knew the size of the blocks.
Well, you get what I'm saying. There's no indicator for newer players or players that want to know like real time information to know like, okay, I'm within a certain distance of said character. And then I would also or if you can't tell me that, put like a notification icon like in the top right next to the mini map or by the mini map or in the top right by my gun to let me know that I have a buff on my character and make it very easy to know like, okay, you're being buffed by said character, or you have this ability, or give me some more visual information on the screen so I can make my decisions. And this goes for both Horde and Escape, easier to understand what I'm doing, or if that card is active. Like there's certain ones with like Lizzie where if you have 2 or less players remaining, but at times it worked with 3. I need a visual indicator to let me know that those things are working. And I think that Horde and PvE is a big player base, and they do well with this update, but there's so much more they can take this to the next level, especially with all these RPG elements that they've integrated with the class-based system.
Yeah, it was ignored for so long that while this was a great update for it, there still is a lot of potential left.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with what you said, Neon. Destiny has a thing where if you have a buff, some kind of passive or whatever, it gives you an indicator in the bottom left corner saying
Yeah.
such something ×2, and it gives you a countdown how long it's going for, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good starting point. I think, because I agree, it'd be nice to have more clarification on stuff like you're within 10 meters, you're within 15 meters, you're within 5 meters, of so on and so forth to.
Give me numbers like of the health of the monsters, of like especially bosses, to let me know how much health they actually have. And I'm not just seeing numbers popping up on the screen.
Right.
Damage, like there's a lot of little. Once again, I go back and say quality of life things that they could take from your big RPG games. You can look at like action RPG like Diablo. You can look at World of Warcraft, The Division. Probably Destiny. I haven't played Destiny 2 at all because Destiny 1 blew my mind in terms of failure. But, go look at those type of games and implement some of those thoughts into Horde. Like, people would like to see that stuff, I truly feel.
I completely agree on that.
That's all I have on additional thoughts.
All right. Well, we can always circle back if something else pops up. But shifting gears a little bit, I'm going to go back to a comment that CJ had in the chat a little while back. Let's scroll up here. And it's that there's a lot of games that come out and they have issues and they kind of suffer, and then they put out all these patches and it gets fixed eventually. How long are we willing to put up with Gears? Like, how long is it going to take for them to get it right? And is it too late? Like, have too many people moved on? How long do we actually give this game to get it right?
Who asked the question?
I guess it's retro types in the chat. It's not very far up. Because you have things like Rainbow Six Siege. They had their big patch where they fixed... I never actually played Siege, but I know about their big patch because it was a huge deal. They fixed a bunch of things in the game. Seems like that's almost what this patch was for Gears 5, where they're starting to fix a bunch of things in the game.
I feel like this patch is more for the current Gears base. The ones that love the series, that always have played it, like us. And I just feel like people who had played it at launch, they had such an opportunity with Game Pass and stuff, and they blew it. And I just feel like those people probably will never touch this game again. And I honestly feel like it's just the people who love Gears, and even some of them might, like, what was it, maybe CJ said it, he might come back, or some people might give it a shot again, but it's tough to be a positive Gears fan right now. That's just how I feel.
Right now, it's not that tough, being that they are fixing a bunch of stuff.
They are. I'm still staying around.
We're in the honeymoon phase too.
Yeah. You have the right. You have that right to feel. You have the right to feel that way for sure. I would say, like, look, we're coming up on the 1 year mark. I think the studio truly knows, like, I'm bypass Dana and the community team. I'm not even going to focus at that. I'm going to focus on those that are actually doing the content development. I think they truly are like the summit or whatever. I think they all kind of got like a fire lit up under them. Like, look, this is our number 2 game, in my opinion, for Microsoft Game Studios. We don't get this on track, we're going to have issues. Like, this is my opinion. I feel like they know that, yes, there's a lot of things that need to be adjusted. But that's not to say that today it's the worst thing ever, because I truly believe, I've said this before, is that Operation 4 should be called groundwork, because that's all this was, is just setting up a foundation for what's going to be coming in future operations. I really believe that this was the right step. While there's still issues in some aspects, it's the right step to move forward. I do believe that Operation 5, which Chaps has said this hundreds of times on all his social media places that he goes, like, this was just to get us through. It was probably already planned in some way. Some of it was already probably there. Operation 5 is where it's really going to have to hit, and Operation 5 kind of goes right into the 1 year anniversary of the game. So there's a lot of things. It's a chance to bring in new hype. If they deliver, it goes back to the conversation we had earlier. If they deliver on how to execute the marketing for it, instead of doing what they did with this operation, if they can deliver the hype, and then with the Series X launch coming and all the updates coming for there, and then you have Gears Tactics. They haven't said it, but would not, be surprised if that game is coming out like day one of Series X launch. I just cannot see a world where that is not happening. And they can market like both of those games at the same time, get all these new players playing, get some of the old new players back, get some of the older players coming back, because I've seen there's a lot of old players that I have not played with since Gears 3 or early Gears 4 that said, hey, let's go play some multiplayer today. And I'm like, I haven't heard from you in years, but let's go do it. Like
that's great to hear.
Yeah.
But there is some positivity. There is good things happening, but at the same point, everybody should be weary. And I've said this too: be weary, because we have been burned. Anytime we feel like we're going one step forward, we go 7 steps back. And so, how far? I don't know. I would say 1 year is a good time to say, well, you kind of screwed this one up. But if Gear 6 isn't anytime soon, then please God fix this one.
Yeah. Someone said in the chat, I was getting ready to say this. Wonder if the 18-week length of the operation coincides with the Series X release. That they would launch Operation 5 right around that time and say, hey, here's Gabe, here's Sid, here's all this new stuff, here's the Series X enhancements, and here's all of it.
Dana gave the excuse during the stream. It's like they gave themselves a couple extra weeks in the tour because they've had to keep extending it in the past.
Yeah, no.
That's a lame excuse. That's a
no.
That means that they planned their timing poorly in the past, or circumstances like COVID came up. That's why you had to delay. You don't add 2 weeks at the beginning of it and say that you're just planning because you think it might have to get pushed again.
I'll just go back, though. I mean, there's a lot of games that have had terrible launches. As Retro said, Gears 2 was terrible at launch. It took... that game was not fun until the end of its life, honestly, in terms of multiplayer, the way that it launched. And so... Jess is Mike.
Is that Mike, Jess?
I don't know why. I don't know. What is it?
Did you just mute yourself, Jess?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, it's fixed now.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, that was crazy.
but I feel like there's a lot of potential. I mean, it doesn't have to be 1 year, but truly, honestly, with the Series X and all the hype that Microsoft has going into that, because there's a lot of good things happening with that console launch and tactics. They can really just deliver so strongly and make a good impact for this game and bring back all those people, because there's tons of people playing it. It was the number one game, a dethroned Fortnite on the weekly scale for a certain amount of time, and then all of a sudden it went down the chart very quick.
Hey, Jess.
I don't know what's happening.
It's definitely your mic.
Do you have a cable loose? It's those turtle beaches. That's the problem.
What I got, man. 1 moment, please.
All right. Anyways, so... Oh, God. Jess and Neon just switched places.
Oh, no.
1 moment.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me, move you back over to your spot, Neon. All right. While I'm fixing this, let's move on and talk about PvP a little bit. So...
Sure, yeah.
The hell? This is so weird right now.
I think if while you're doing that, I'll kind of keep the ball rolling. I think that we were going to talk about the playlist changes.
Yes.
What's the thoughts on the playlist changes? I believe is most likely going to be over.
You guys switched back. I hate you guys so much right now. All right. But yeah, the playlist changes.
Rank playlist changes, I believe, is what probably the focus was going to be.
Yeah.
Would it be in general?
I think general. We'll start with ranked playlist changes.
Who's played ranked other than me right now? Cheese, have you?
Played,
Chaps?
I've played one match.
Played a
of King
little
of the Hill
bit
this morning.
I played a little bit.
Okay. Playlist changes only right now, right?
Yeah, let's start with playlists.
Okay. I feel like it's the right move. I know that there's some people upset that TDM got removed, but ultimately it was becoming a camp fest. And there's no incentive to push people to move towards a objective base. If they, like Dana said, if they can find a way to make it work, they'll do so. I don't think it's a vote that should be in there as a ranked playlist. It's just
I don't think
we've
so
had
either.
this issue. We've had these issues with prior games. I mean, Gears 2 had like 70 playlists, or game mode playlists, however you want to word that. There's no reason for that in this game. It's not big enough for it. I do feel as if having King of the Hill, Gridiron, and Free for All were the right moves. I'm glad Escalation.
Oh my god, I'm so glad.
That was a 40. Wait.
I have not played Escalation at all in Gears 5. I did not care for it in 4. It was a terrible mode. I don't care for it. Sorry. I know that probably hurts some people's feelings. Some, not many. I'm just not a fan of it. So I think that this was the right move. And consolidation, believe it or not, is the right move for ranked in particular, because it will force people to play. If you want to play to get rewards, get your coins and stuff like that, go play these modes. And if you don't like it, go ahead and hang out and quick play, which I love what they've done with the asset art to indicate what mode you're playing. That was a nice update, quality of life change again. Having those like nice little fine details are nice. I think they've done a good job there too. So the playlist, it's just the way it should have been. My perspective.
I think ranked is perfect right now. Maybe not the ranking system, but like the playlist organization for ranked right now is perfect.
Yeah, I
Quick
agree.
match. I might want a couple small changes in quick match. Is TDM's its own playlist, right?
Yes, it is.
Gridiron and King of the Hill are together
Yeah,
in quick match.
I don't understand that.
I'm not a huge fan of that one. Being that they are such different modes.
Yeah.
I would like to see like-minded modes grouped together. Maybe a playlist that's like Gridiron and Execution, or something like that.
Yeah.
And put those together in a single playlist for quick match. And it's like, hey guys, check it out. Execution's in there. No one's gonna vote for it because people like Gridiron, and no one votes for Execution. But hey, it's playable.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know I will get hate for this, but I'm one of those people who seriously thinks that Free for All should allow parties in quick match.
Yes.
I don't see why
Can you
not.
hear me?
I don't see
Yes,
why
we
not.
hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
It was in Judgment. Like, you had parties in Judgment.
Keep it in quick play. Move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, people
Back
I
didn't
want to
complain.
kill that all day.
Yeah. And
Fair point.
Better.
Fair point.
yeah, ban people who are teaming up if they get reported. People get tired of teaming up anyway. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's cycle back and talk about actually, real quick, let's hit on the 8-shot Nasher.
Thank you.
Alright,
Thank
so
you.
Very much. Thank you.
I personally don't even recognize the change when I'm playing. I will say that when I was playing pre-update, there were occasions where I would run out of ammo early, and that's not happening now. And that's really the only difference. And it's like, so I sort of am recognizing that there's a change, but I don't know, it's not really affecting me that much.
As a
So
heavy
many times
Nasher,
I needed one more shot, man. Just one more.
yeah, yeah, I would say agreed. Like it's been like mentally trained into me. Like, hey, you got 8 shots, and this is all you're gonna have. And then when it got reduced to 6, and you go play like 2v2 Nashers or something like that, because I am a heavy Nasher user. Having only 6 shots, I was like, oh my god, I could have just team wiped this whole thing in 2v2s, but nope, had to sit here and shoot, and then, well, it's gone. I don't have any more bullets. But now it's like, oh, okay, I can be a little bit more hard and poke more, be a little bit more aggressive than I was prior. So, and of course that comes with the weapon tuning as well. There's been some changes there too. So there's a lot of factors in play, but overall, it was Ryan's idea to go back to 6.
Yeah.
And here we are again. So
The ranked King of the Hill match I played this morning, I got a quint in that I know definitely not have been possible if it was not the 8-shot Nasher in there. So
I did want to say
okay.
I forgot to hit on this in the PvE, but I had not played Versus since they changed the reload for the Lancer and the Nasher.
it's relatively new.
Yeah, and they put that in PvE now. Like, it wasn't in it
they did.
till Tuesday, and the first time I go to reload, I'm like, what the hell's happening? Like,
Do you still get
I wasn't used to it.
boost? Do you still get the active damage boost in
You
PvE?
get damage boost in
for the
PvE,
PvE, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you guys think of the new active system, or the old active system? I guess I could say.
System, yeah.
Where you get active bonus regardless, or versus no active damage.
Well, let's start with the timing of the actives and the placement of the active bar, like on the thing.
It's fine. I mean that's such a minor thing to me. Like,
I much prefer it this way because it's actually risk reward.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It makes you have to think about it at the same time, but I'm not a heavy relier on actives anyways, so
especially in PvP when there's no boost now. So.
Yeah. People
I can't stop
pre-activating.
I've always given her crap when we're playing 2v2 Nashers and she's activating out of spawn. I'm like, you realize there's no active boost, right?
Hold on, she's grinding her metal for active.
Just muscle memory. That's all that is. I do the same thing.
It feels weird if I don't.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I will say right now, playing PvP, the few matches I've played, it feels very strange not needing to worry about getting that active boost. Like, mentally, I'm just trained to, like, I want that active boost. So that feels very strange. But at the same time, I think the weapon balance is pretty good without the actives in there, or without the boost in there.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. The little bit I've played the past couple of days, it's felt good.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed anything super crazy right now.
Let's see. So, Guardian. Have you guys played Guardian?
I really yes, I played a good bit this morning. I really like it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Haven't touched it yet, but I gather it's playing like older versions, which is welcome.
So, I had mixed feelings because I've played 3 matches of Guardian. The first one was my first match in Operation 4. It was on Reactor. I didn't know the map, so it wasn't the best experience. The next one was on Pahanu, which I don't think is a really good Guardian map. So I also wasn't a huge fan of that. This morning, though, we played on Dam. So that is a map that I know really well. And I think Guardian played really, really well on there. I really enjoyed it. And I think it's just because I knew the map. And once I get to know Reactor, I will probably enjoy Guardian on that. I think this is the right move for Guardian.
Agreed.
I agree. I definitely agree.
The feedback online and the fact that they extended it another week just kind of tells you that this is the way it probably should have been.
Is there anything in game to specify that it's classic Guardian? Because I know there was a lot of people coming onto like Reddit and stuff saying, "What did they do to the Guardian spawns? Why are we not spawning on our leader anymore?" And you have to explain to them, "Oh, this is the classic Guardian, and it's that way because of this, and it makes it really intense when the leaders switch sides." And
I haven't seen anything that indicates that personally.
I don't think so, but I'd have to go back in and look.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
The leader vision thing's pretty cool, though.
I like that. Yes. That's really cool.
Do you prefer that versus the Gears 3?
Tac-Com.
Yeah, the Gears 3 system where you just held Tac-Com.
I think the Tac-Com in Gears 3 made it a little too kind of like easy for you because you're like, oh yeah, I know where you are at all times, basically.
Yeah.
Which is beneficial, but at the same time, you want to have that a little bit of suspense. It's kind of like hide and seek, right? Kind of how Guardian's supposed to work.
I really found it interesting when I used that ability and I could see where everyone was, and then it starts to expire, and then all of a sudden spawns swap, and I'm the leader, and it's like, oh crap, I need to like be really protective right now, wait for that ultimate to come back so that I can see if anyone's coming towards me. I thought it was a really, really cool change. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it when I first saw it, but after playing, I really like it.
I think I prefer it this way. Honestly, my opinion. I like it. It kind of gives you gotta have a little strategy when you want to use it, and I mean it still comes back fairly quickly, but you have to kind of know when to use it.
I don't think it should be a ranked playlist. I would like to see it stay in quick match.
Stay away. It's not going to get populated enough.
Keep it in quick match as its own play mode. Keep it its own play mode in there. Don't bundle it with something else. But yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Was there anything else like PvP related we wanted to bring up? Oh, the ranking system.
Yeah, that's why I was. Yeah.
You're like,
I got some comments on that one.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Start us off.
Well, so I had a tweet go out, and it was just an in-game screenshot of me playing and on checkout, and I had like over 100 eliminations. And again, I have to explain this because I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm the greatest, because that's not the point of this. What I'm trying to illustrate is like the way that they're determining who's MVP. I don't really agree with, and I've talked about this with a few people. Some people understand what I'm getting at, some people don't. And so I guess I will try to clear this up. Well, this is a good time to do so, because I feel like getting MVP should be rewarding, because you get experience for it. You get medals, and it goes towards your account and makes you feel good, right? Because you're like, oh yeah, I tore it up. Like, that's awesome. So the way that they're determining who's MVP now is, I believe it's if you're on the winning team, which was adjusted in Operation 3, I believe. And then if you have the most gears points, which is calculated based off, let's say you're playing King of the Hill, your caps, your eliminations, and your breaks.
Yep.
And eventually you can max out, and all this equals out to a total amount of points that you can earn before you get a win bonus, assuming you win. I don't believe that is the true way to capture who's MVP, because in the scenario that I posted, I had 50 more eliminations, 4 more caps, 2 less breaks, more downs. And so I feel as if the overall impact of what I played, and it's not just for me, but this could be for anybody. Like it doesn't bother me, but optically it doesn't appear right. That's what I guess I'm trying to get at, is how could I be penalized for having 2 less breaks and still and have 50 more kills than the next person on my team? And I had 4 more captures on the hill. So it appears as if I'm doing cleanup, or they're coming at me and I'm just able to get more multi-kills. Yes, elimination means you can tap them. But 50 eliminations, give or take more, doesn't mean I'm just tapping them. That's what I guess I'm getting at. So I feel like there should be a background analysis that may not need to be shown, and I'm not sure exactly what this is, but in my head, I was like, well, maybe we could go back to what we were doing prior and keep that calculation running, where it's like, okay, you're getting all these points, and even though you're not number 1 on the leaderboard based off your gears points, you're still technically number 1 because of the background analysis saying, well, you're the overall more impactful player. Because to me, 2 breaks is not worth more than 10 kills or 15 kills or 20 kills or eliminations, whatever you want to call it. I feel like there's a little bit of a optical issue around that.
Do you think the scoreboard should show both the old score and the ranking system points?
If they could do so and it's not overly cluttered, that would be nice. But I don't want people to get confused either. It's nice and simplistic. Okay, get your gears points and you'll move up and down the leaderboard. However, I don't know.
I like how visual it is, or like how clearly you can see what you're doing to rank up. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of people are going to be trying to rank up and playing as, oh, let me try to max these things out. It's like, oh, let them cap a hill so we can get a break and get more points.
Yeah.
There will be some.
It's almost like their in-game objectives.
Yeah.
Like we were playing earlier, and he jokingly said, "What did you like? Oh, I got my last cap or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, so you're just gonna go kill now?"
Agreed. It should be. It's a little weird because I know what they're doing, and I like the fact that it's trying to push you to play into those roles. But at the same time, I don't think you should not be able to get top leaderboard. Like, what if like you have your best elimination game, or you have your most caps and breaks, but you have no eliminations, and eliminations are worth more.
I think MVP should definitely just be based off of the old system. They can keep gears points the way it is right now. MVP should be based off of total background score for every kill counts, every cap counts. Like,
yeah,
I like
agree.
that.
That's kind of what I was getting to, but I don't know if I wanted that stuff to be visible on the screen. Although it's something that we are familiar with since Gears 2, Gears 3, having scores like that on the screen. So that was my big issue with the rank. And then the other thing is, right now, yes, everybody's in lower ranks and there's matchmaking time, so I'm not really going to talk about that. But I think the other piece is it's so heavily dependent on you winning. And as a single or 2-3 person squad, there's no obviously there's never a guarantee you're going to win. but your chances are greatly diminished because you're not playing with a 5-man stack. And that makes things a little bit more difficult to progress up those ranks to get all the way up to masters. So I don't know if there's a true remedy to that, but the fact that I could pay, let's just say, 10 gears points, and I go ham, but we don't win, and I lose 5, and I only get 5 points. Like, now I'm deranking because I didn't get all 10 back. This kind of goes back into the old system, but at the same point, I'm not going to say it's the worst thing possible. I just don't think that you should be punished as harshly, I guess. I don't know. There's still early data points coming through. I don't even think the coalition has enough data points yet to make a determination. So I can't say that either, but I just don't know how that's going to play out just yet. Like, it just kind of weird.
I think, personally, this new system, I don't think it is nearly as accurate as the old one for predicting or for getting your true skill rank or rating or whatever you want to call it. But it is much more, it's much easier to understand now. And people can get that sense of progression and they can see what they're doing. I think it's overall better. It's not going to be as accurate, and I don't think it's going to be quite as meaningful as the old system. But I think people will be happier with this new one.
Yeah, I definitely think that the algorithm that they had before was probably more true at launch, like outside of a few bugs that they have openly admitted to. And then it became, well, the fan base is not happy. So what can we do to lower the amount of people upset? And then, okay, now we just got to scrap it over because this ain't working for them. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
I think we as the fans and the players of the game sometimes get overly critical because you want to be rewarded, but like sometimes you just don't need it. You lose, but I do, like playing 2v2s and you lose a match 7-6 and you lose 2,000 points in a match. Okay, I'm not really sure if that's accurate math, but I think that simplifying things is the best route for our fans. But that's where I go with it.
All right. Do we have any other PvP related topics you want to bring up?
Wingman.
Nope. All right. We're going to move on to the last topic now. If people have questions in the chat, I know some people have been asking, but go ahead and type some questions in the chat if you want. We're going to move on to this last topic, which is on the economy, which will cover the store and the tour of duty and Gears coins and just all of that fun stuff. All right. I'm trying to figure out where I wanted to start with this one because this.
Why don't you take the lead, because you have done some numbers and some math. Why don't you?
Yeah, you're a generous leader.
Yeah, I would say you go ahead and take the lead on our first subject here, and I would go with your conversion rates.
All right,
and what you were working on and why you felt the way you did.
Okay. So I'm going to let the chat know. I'm going to try not to spend much time on this because people have seen me rant about this and I could get pretty passionate about it. But the conversion rate from our existing scrap to the new Gears coins was a terrible conversion, and it was objectively bad for the users. Dana even admitted as such on the latest stream. I will say the new Gears coin system and the new store and the way that you earn them is amazing, but that's completely separate than the conversion of our existing currency. So, for our existing currency, if I had 6,000 scrap on Monday, I could buy 10 purple cards, or 10 purple horde skill cards. On Tuesday after the update, I could buy like 6 or 7, I think. It's objectively devaluing our existing currency. Yes, we can earn more now at a faster rate and we can buy more stuff, but our existing currency got transferred to something that was worth less. I don't have a huge issue with that being how quickly we can earn stuff now, but they should have let the players know ahead of time. And to make it worse, Dana, he says he misunderstood. I thought we were pretty explicit, but he explicitly said that it was going to be a generous conversion when it was not a generous conversion. So that's just That's the issue that I have. If they're going to devalue our currency, that is completely fine. Just tell us ahead of time, and certainly don't tell us that it's going to be generous. So that's all I'm going to say about the conversion rate. I don't know if you guys have anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, I agree, because I saw the thread. I think on Twitter it was you and Ace McLeod were asking him about it, and he just wouldn't give an answer.
All three of us, myself included, were pushing on this topic, and
Yeah.
I was pushing. We were all pushing it the moment the stream was going on about it. Once we started understanding, I would say the three of us were all on the same wavelength about, like, there's a fundamental issue going to happen here, because if you're saying it's generous, but then we go walk into this and it's not, we're going to know. And the fact that you're holding it out from us wasn't a good idea, because that set expectations that we were going to get more than like a 1.09 or whatever it was.
I think it was
percent.
1.2.
Okay.
The store went up by double, and more than that. It went up by at least double on everything, and we got 1.2. So,
Yeah.
The fact that you're seeing, like, nothing change, but our currency just fall apart, it didn't really sit well with me, because scrap was a big way to upgrade, like, your skill cards for me personally, because I enjoyed using that to upgrade those cards, and then getting all the content through supply drops worked fine for me. But you just got to let people know. I don't think the question was misunderstood. Again, cop out. I think Dana just didn't want to answer the question, but
it goes back to transparency. Like, they keep saying they want to be more transparent, but then they keep hiding all of this stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just an issue.
It just seemed weird. It was a very blunt question. What's it going to be? You're not wanting to tell us, and then you're kind of mocking the community by saying, well, it's this, and then eventually you say, well, it's going to be generous, and then it's not. It's just kind of weird.
I just don't understand why you would withhold that. You know, like, hey, we're going to switch to this currency. It may seem, if you want to get your cards or get more scrap, do it now. I don't know.
You know what this goes back to, though? Let's be real. It goes back into the fact that they do these type of things, and how they go about doing the timing of trailers and news information before the actual release of the game. It kept saying, like, well, you need to understand the scope of the new coins or the new currency. You need to understand it. Well, how can we understand it if you're not even going to tell us anything about it? Like, we can't understand it if we only know what it's called. There's no definition of what it actually does or how it works. And then you go back and get on stream, and it's like, well, every time we talk about it, we're going to interject and say we can't talk about future content. Well, it's not future content. You've already told me about it. Let's actually
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. That whole thing with that stream where they read a PowerPoint about the store and didn't really show it off or answer any of the big questions about it. And then Dana gets asked about it after, how is this going to affect us scrapping cards? Jess is right. All he had to say is, look, the conversion from scrap to Gears coins, you'll get a little bit more, but the conversion to upgrade the cards isn't that generous. Yeah, like it's going to go up substantially. So if you want to use it to upgrade cards, do it now. Versus, I'm not going to talk about it, and then you find out Tuesday, and then we're too late. And he took the fall. Well, I say he, said it was on him, and that's fine. I appreciate that, but it was
a very blunt question, and that's all it was. That's all it is. It's a very yes or no question.
It totally could have been avoided. He copped out behind, well, you don't know the whole context of the store. And yeah, that's true, but that wasn't what everybody was asking.
Yeah. Yep. So, end of the day, the Coalition made a big mistake with this one, both from, I think it was a big mistake on what they did in the game and the way it was communicated or miscommunicated or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, that's a small thing compared to what we have going for us in the future, which I think we can all agree is a great new system with Gears coins and a store. So let's start off by talking about the how the store is actually organized now. So we've got it's the new items for Iron or Gears coins. There's the esports stuff, which is money only. The featured set, which will rotate, or is featured the same as new, and that rotates like weekly.
Features new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then there's an operation section, which will have everything from the operation in it.
Yep.
And then there's the permanent collection, which is all the stuff at the bottom of the store where it has characters,
Supply.
weapon skins. Yeah, it's basically supply. So first glance, I really like it. There's a lot of stuff missing in it, I think, right now, and there's a lot of improvements that it could have, like filters and stuff like that could be applied.
Yeah.
Individual weapon skins for sale. I think there's a lot of things that they could do. Neon, you look like you wanted to say something there.
In terms of weapons being individual, the example was the Krill weapon set being cheaper than it was if you actually bought each individual item. Like, oh my gosh, if I did not buy that, but if I did,
Yeah.
and then say, well, too bad, it is what it is. Like, that's the part that it really sucks when you do these things, because you're gonna piss, and I'm gonna use the word piss off some of your community players, because it's like, I've invested money into your game and now you're shafting me because now you can go buy it tomorrow. But then people say, well, it's de-aged in its value because it's been in the game for a couple weeks. Like,
Do you know how much cheaper it is?
I don't know the exact numbers, but
Isn't it like $8 if you bought it with irons, like $8.50 or something like that?
Oh, as opposed to it used to be like $8
Yeah.
to get you 2 skins or something in the past.
Yes,
It's-
yes.
Okay, so it's
like-
significant.
It's a significant decrease.
I mean,
And-
it costs, that's like 10% of what it, less than
Yes.
10% of what it used to cost.
Yeah.
Wow.
So basically, you just funded the whole, like, it's just ridiculous.
Wow.
I
Okay.
I was not a big fan of that personally. Again, I didn't buy it, but I saw the tweets coming out like rapidly,
Yeah.
so I wasn't happy with that. I do agree with you. They should add some type of filter system, like, there of like what type of skins you're looking for or whatever. It wouldn't be that difficult, I believe.
We
They
filter
have-
by character, like
filter by the character type of weapon set it might be based off like
yeah, it's-
rarity, whatever.
So Paladins, I used to play Paladins, and they had a great store where, so to transfer it to Gears, it's like, hey, I'm playing as Baird right now. Show me everything available for Baird. I want to see his different skins. I want to see his emotes. His, like, anything Baird related. Or, hey, I'm looking for a new drop shot weapon skin. Just show me either the packs or the individual skins or the sub packs or whatever that include drop shot skins and things like that.
Yep.
It seems like the store could probably use a refresh with Op5 with the way it's organized and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
see
sure-
what they come up with.
I'm sure they could drop it tomorrow if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I feel like they could. What I will say though is I don't like the fact that they're withholding some already purchasable skins. Like, there's a few skins that I would like to have.
Sweater Vest
That-
Mac.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's back.
You didn't want
He's back.
delivery driver Mac.
is he
I
back?
would. He's in
Yeah.
Delivery Driver Max.
Oh,
is
okay.
He's in it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Quartermaster Keegan's back. So
Aren't there
like,
some winter characters that are missing?
They're
there's
not,
like,
yeah.
they're not
Lonnie,
there.
I think Islander
Yeah.
Lonnie's missing. And she's
Yeah.
like
Islander
week
Lonnie,
one
like,
of the store.
That's one I would like to have. I
That's
would
the
like to. Yeah, I would like to have that. There's a few other ones, but then you go into the esports store, and I'm not going to get into the specifics. I believe they've basically chalked it up to it's an accounting thing of some form kind. I'm not sure if that's a cop out, but like, okay, so now my iron really has no purpose other than for boost or featured daily, or not daily, but weekly content. I'm not really a fan of that because
Yeah.
I'm just sitting on it, and I actually got a lot of that to go support the esports store because I do enjoy some of those Chrome Steel skins, and the fact that I can't go back and get older Chrome Steel skins at all. If you want to fund the esports store, keep them in there. People will buy them because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, again,
I
disconnect. There's so many people that did not play the dang game because it was just terrible to play. It wasn't fun. So people wanted to go play other games. There's a lot of money in those Chrome Steel skins now with people coming back that if they just
Yeah.
threw them in there and gave the ability to go back and have it with whichever way you want to purchase it, like most of the store, I guarantee you they sell like freaking Happy Meals.
Yeah, I don't understand why they would like do that whole like FOMO thing with the esports stuff because, like you said, like just put it in there and let people buy it when they want. You'll still get your money.
I mean, if you look at, if you've taken any economy class, like one thing they teach you about is the long tail, and it's the fact that with an e-commerce thing like an electronics store that Gears has, it doesn't really cost them money to leave stuff up in the store. And with the long tail, you're getting, over time, you're just getting like a couple purchases every day or two over a long period of time, but it adds up to a lot of money over time. That's why like online stores became such a big thing. They could leave these things up. They're not making a ton of sales off of it, but a bunch of small sales that don't cost them anything to keep in the store makes a lot of money.
And then, well, okay. So then you back it back into what was prior to Operation 4. Now you have content that has been reduced in half. So do you really think people trust you to? It's like or whatever percentage it used to be. Like people don't trust the fact that. I think the example was leading into Operation 3. You had all the skins like come back for like a week or two, like the Nutcracker skin. Like they were in like a store section to where you could go pretty much purchase any skin, and they were all like half price. What?
Yeah.
I took advantage of that, to be quite honest. But it was like, whoa, what? Like you have the ability. Like I just paid full price 2 days ago, and now you're telling me the whole collection is half off. There's not a lot of trust, and again, you're destroying the representation that you want to have with your fans by being transparent and honest. But
I do think things should go on sale, though. But
agree.
But the fact that they had the reputation beforehand, or they had beforehand, they had said stuff like, "Oh, this stuff's not coming back," and things like that.
Yes.
They gave the impression that like this is your chance to get it, and the whole FOMO thing, and then they brought it back. That's what I think the biggest issue is. Now that we've seen that they are starting to bring stuff back, it's not as big of a deal.
The FOMO thing started with Gears 3 with exclusive pre-order skins. And it's
it's gotten worse and worse.
It's continued to get worse. Like the fact that you have to buy a red replica Lancer to get that skin, or go buy Razor gear to get a Razor Lancer, or a Mark, or a Blood Spray, or Banner, or whatever, or a $600 statue with $100 pre-order. Like, come on, like. I shouldn't have to.
Gears 4 cured me of that.
Yeah, it did.
I did not go all the way like I probably would have, because like $600 for a statue just ain't it.
Right.
But everything else, there's ways around it. But then like you have these pre-order things like the Walmart Carmine skins. I don't think anybody got them other than maybe like one or two people in the world, because there was issues there. So I really think that they should just ditch the whole like pre-order exclusive stuff. Just put them in the dang game, because people don't want to they only are pre-ordering, most of them, I feel like, because they want to have this content, but they're really just going to buy it digital anyways going forward, unless you're like really rendered by speed caps or data limits. Personally. But
do you remember in Gears 3 when they did the pre-orders, and then like how far
Put
into
them
the
out?
game did
put them out?
Yeah.
Well, they put the limited edition of them.
They were awful looking.
They changed them. Yeah. Recolored skins, like Mechanic Baird went from like that grayish to blue or whatever, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
Surprised we haven't seen TC do that.
So we've talked about the store.
Noted to the team.
What?
I was just saying, passing that along to the team.
Oh, yeah. So we've hit on the store, the organization, and a little bit of the pricing stuff. Let's talk about the other, like, really important part of that, and that's how you earn Gears coins. Like, you can't talk about the prices without talking about how much you're earning. So, if you complete the Tour of Duty plus all of the medals in the operation, you get, what is it, like 81,000?
80 plus thousand.
Yeah, it's over 80,000 coins.
Yeah, go ahead.
It seems like a lot. Like,
it is. It's a lot.
It is.
That's where the generous statement really came into play.
Yeah.
So, but you also got to take into account that the Tour of Duty it gives you a bunch of Gears coins, but it has a lot less actual content things in the Tour of Duty. And that's because they expect you to take those coins and then go over to the store and purchase stuff. And a lot of people are coming off with the mindset of oh, well, I can earn this, or I've earned this many gear points so quickly, I can buy everything in the store. Don't forget that those are your gears coins for this 3-month operation, and they're going to be adding new stuff to the store weekly.
You gonna talk about general?
Yeah, so then...
legend rank, or legend, you mean? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah,
sorry,
so I'll get to that.
I just want to make sure we're clear. Okay.
Yeah, let me get to legend in a second. So I did some math over on Reddit. I made a couple assumptions. Some weren't so great. Some were pretty good assumptions. But it was saying, like, over the course of this tour, you get all these gears coins. This is how much stuff you can get. And I tried to see how generous it really was, and it seemed like for most hardcore players, you definitely can get more stuff now.
Yes.
A lot of the people who don't play quite as much they probably won't see any difference, and the people like myself who, I don't know, I play a lot at some points and then not a lot at other points, but I normally come pretty close to completing my tour of duty and then not doing much after that. I probably won't see much difference in the quantity of stuff I'll get either, but the quality will be a lot higher because I can pick and choose. One of the big assumptions that I made, though, in that thread, which is I was completely wrong on, was I thought it was 750 gears coins for every legend rank, and I thought it was 35 stars for a legend rank, the same as general.
Thankfully not.
It's 12, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. On average, a player will get, if they complete all 5 of their dailies, they get 10 stars on average without boost.
Yeah, I was about to say without boost, yeah.
Hold on. Each legend rank is 12 stars.
12 stars.
And you get 750 coins for every legend rank.
I was figuring it would, like, the first legend rank would be 12, and then it would go up.
Nope. Stays the same. Stays the same.
Wow.
So, someone just said that Dana said that it was way more than legend. It's less than legend, but it gives you a lot less coins. Because at the end of the tour, you're getting like 3,000 coins for 35 stars. Now you're getting 750 coins for 12 stars. So, I mean, it's pretty close to the same. But I think that's pretty generous, though. Like, a lot of people complete the tour and then they say, now what? Well, now you have a really good incentive to keep going. That's a lot of gears coins that you can bulk up. And
they've made the tour a lot easier to complete, I feel like.
Due to the medals, yeah.
Doing the medals, yeah.
I would highly encourage people to play the crap out of this tour of duty and get those legend ranks and start racking it, like, just bring in those gears coins, because I have a feeling Operation 5 is not going to be this generous with gears coins.
Jess, do you have anything to add to that before I go? Okay.
I think I know where you're going, but let's see this.
So I've made a few things out there. So first and foremost, I'll say the earn rate is it's quite nice to see. It was a nice, like, I love you community. I'm going to make up for some of the things that we've done. That was nice. I do agree that in Operation 5 it's going to change. I'm actually advocating for it to change, but not in a way that it penalizes the player, but to make it more difficult to get it, because you want to keep people playing the game. And I know that sounds crazy, but there's really nothing to chase other than points right now, because they're developing content, I guess, right? I'm not sure. I'm not in their studio. But what I would say, though, is me personally, as someone who spent a lot of time doing videos over, like, medal guides and completions of how to unlock certain things, I'm not really thrilled with the change of there's nothing to chase after other than points.
With the medals, you're saying?
Yes, with the medals, because the medals are really where your earning currency comes from, and then your tour of duty is kind of it's kind of not, it's all in the operation, but there's two separate ways to earn the currency. I guess that's what I want to say. So I'm focusing on the medal completion side of it all, which is the way that they want you to keep playing. I don't want to call it grind, but it really is a grind, to grind out medals to unlock the content.
Yeah.
And so if you sorry, that threw me off a little bit. So I'm going to be posting a lot of videos about, like, here's the fastest ways, and then, like, those ways will kind of tie into your daily objectives, which will help you unlock those gears coins very fast. So I think there's a few of us out there that just want more things, like, when I say the word things, like character skins or expressions or whatever to be more in the actual medal section or the actual tour of duty itself, and not just through the store. I feel like
I think there's a balance that they can find for that.
And it's
I was
not, it's not
surprised
balanced.
that there was nothing.
It's shifted more to the store right now. It's shifted more to the store.
So Dana said that they did that because there's certain things that were Horde related, and like some people don't want to play Horde, or some people don't want to play Versus. They didn't want to lock people out and force them to play mode they didn't want to play. So my proposal, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about this, is leave the rewards just the way they were in Operation 3, so that people can go play those modes and get those rewards. But then, in order to not block people out from it, make it so that in Operation 5, all of that stuff goes into the store. Or Operation 6, all of that stuff goes into the store. So if you do the medals, you get it then. And then later, it goes into the store.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't see anything wrong with it. They want to retain the players, right?
Yeah.
That's what this comes down to. So the fact that I'm getting unlimited Gears points, coins, I'm starting to get them.
Yeah, all right. Real quick, before you continue, what the hell? Why did they make Gears coins and Gears points? Could they not have come up with a better name of things?
Just call it credits, like Gears 4. I don't understand it.
All right, continue.
I was just going to say, like, make it a little bit more grindy like it was, because you want to keep people playing. But right now, like, I was actually going through, and I have a few things ready to go for future videos to make, for example. But, like, while I'm doing it, I'm like, well, dude, I just unlocked a medal I didn't even know that I was going towards. So it's like, it's really super beneficial to the players to tag onto what you were saying earlier. Like, you can complete the medal section literally just by doing almost the basics section, which is like your general, like, just get eliminations, get kills, get assists, do executions. Like, you can get all these things fairly quickly. It's like actually like a completely different way of doing it. Myself, though, I enjoyed, like, man, I gotta like really grind out for these 12 or 14, 18 weeks, however long we're doing this for anymore. Like, it's not set in stone anymore, truthfully. And then seeing people like, hey, like, what's the fastest way? And then they'll go patch it, and then you gotta go find the, like, I enjoyed that kind of chase. There was a little bit of a chase there, like, we gotta find the next way to get around it. But I think, like, there's no reason to restrict players in Gears of War from Classic Baird, for example, that was tied to a medal completion.
A tough one.
Yeah, it was a tough one, but there was no reason to hide him behind a medal completion, and it should have been a tour of duty reward, or he should be thrown into the actual store like today. So you got to make sure if you're bringing old stuff, like, that stuff should be like through your unlockables at the tour of duty on the bottom, but not through your medals. And if you're bringing in new stuff, put that as the medal completions, and then all your older stuff, if you're bringing older stuff from prior games, into the actual bottom tour. I think that's kind of a good balance, and doing what Chap said, where you're keeping it a little bit grindy to get the newer stuff.
So what are your thoughts on having tour of duty items in the store from previous tours?
I'm fine with it, honestly.
I'm fine.
Other than the general rank that Dana's talked about, I'm fine with that.
Because a lot of people were under the impression. So I had pushed for a long time to put it all in, except maybe the general stuff. And when they made the announcement, it seemed like a lot of people were under the impression that that's what they were doing. They were going to end up putting all of the old stuff in, except for, like, the general rank. And from some of the more recent discussion, it sounds like they're only going to be taking some of those, like, really early on in the tour things and putting those in.
Most of those were garbage.
Yeah. I will. So they did put some, like, pretty sought after, like, Onyx Guard. I didn't even play Operation 2, but Onyx Guard was a pretty early level in there, because they wanted to give a nice reward pretty early on. So you might have a couple good rewards in there, but for the most part, I think they're going to just be doing some of the really early levels and putting that stuff in the store. And a lot of the later stuff is exclusive. If you missed it, you missed it. And I'm biased because I didn't play Operation 2, but I do.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. Someone like yourself that's been playing the franchise for as long as you felt the need, like, I can't play this game because it's just not playable. It's just not fun. Operations 1 through 2.5, 3.5, whatever you want to call it, were not a fun time to play the game. So I do feel as if those earlier on, and they were really grindy in 1 and 2. Like, you thought 3 was bad, those were worse. I did not finish those. Like, I did not finish 1 or 2, so there's a lot of stuff that I was missing, like the campaign desert skins for Kate and Dell, for example. I'm glad they put those in, but I feel like all Operation 1 and 2 really, truthfully, should actually make its way into the game, given that there were server issues every day.
Except for General, maybe.
Except for General, yes. There was, like, server issues, there was all these things. I feel like all that content should just be thrown in there. It was early in-game content. We're almost half a year away from it. The game wasn't in a great state. Operation 4, like I said, is groundwork. The way that they've promoted it is completely changed. Give us all that content. I can understand if you don't want to throw in 3 because it's brand new. There was extended time on it. I can get there. But 1 and 2, there wasn't a lot of people playing the game.
I think having a 1 to 2 operation gap after it is in the Tour of Duty and then putting it in the store is completely fine for every operation going forward as well. I think give people timed exclusive for 1 to 2. I mean, that's half a year of timed exclusivity, and then you can put it in the store.
Well, there's also other things, and I want to focus on the chat for a second. There's also other things that were preventing people from getting those skins or unlockables. Was not all metal tracking worked properly back then either.
Yes.
That's another thing to consider. And yes, it's still not working with the mulcher. I'll tell everybody if you don't know, it's already been posted everywhere. But yes, you have to use the snub to get the mulcher kills. Like,
and
yes,
the metal with
doesn't work. Does not work.
That's the only one I don't have in the horde section.
So think about that. Like, there's things that actually prevented people from actually completing it, and then they say, "Oh, well, go put a ticket out there." Like, okay, put a ticket. You're never gonna get a response. So
how long did it take you to get a response?
Dude, a little sour about that because that took like what 7, 8 weeks, 9 weeks before I just kept bugging out.
I was gonna say I thought it was like 3 months or something.
They took my iron away, like it was gone.
Apparently it's better now, but the support ticket thing, it's good for some stuff, but yeah, there's a lot that's really annoying to see support ticket or them just say go do a support ticket.
I think there's things that they could definitely like just be more generous with your Operation 1 and 2 people that coming back to the game, allow that content to be in the store, put a delay in there. Like, there's some stuff, and like, I don't like to get into these types of conversations because it can be taken one way or the other, but like, there's stuff that I have when I played Fortnite, like when it first came out from like the true season 1 and 2 and 3 that no one can get, that people are like, oh, he's an OG, he's been playing that since.
It's like I have John Wick or whatever,
or that was season 2, like, that,
or yeah, but like
but they brought it back.
I've purchased some of like the earliest stuff in Fortnite because I had the Save the World thing, so I got the coins for free from that. But
me too, yeah.
So do you mind if other people are able to get that stuff?
I don't think it. Well, there's a difference, right? In Gears of War, there's a difference in terms of what Fortnite's doing. Like, Gears of War just did it to just. How do I say this?
To make money.
To make money, whereas Epic did it in a way of like, these are going, and like the store was already set up this way. They have not changed the way their store works, really. Like, the store in Fortnite more or less works the same way as it did when it launched. At least that's how I appear to see it when I log in. They have completely changed the way it works today. In Gears, just less than a year after it launched. I don't mind exclusive like stuff like that being locked behind. What I don't like is that the game was unplayable.
Yeah.
There was no way to obtain it because it was almost unplayable, or it wasn't fun to play. And like, probably 80% of the player base that got through Game Pass and watching Ninja and Dr. Disrespect and all these popular people playing that never played before dipped out and were like, peace. But maybe they want to come back now in Operation 4 or 5, and they're not going to see that content, but they're going to be like, maybe they get addicted to it, or there's another wave of like newer players coming back and they want to get that stuff. And I would like to have it, but I didn't want to play the game because it wasn't fun, just like you didn't play Operation 2. It's just weird. It's just, I can understand like hiding some stuff, but not Operation.
I think all that stuff should be earnable and then eventually purchasable. I think the only things that should not be eventually purchasable are they need skill-locked challenges. They need something that is not just grindy and time-locked, like something that's actually skill-locked. And that's a big thing that Gears is missing right now.
Yep, agreed. I would say that they do a good job. I think it was fun, and these what they did with like the thrash ball executions and stuff like that, the punt and stuff, I don't necessarily think that those limited time events should be in the store, because you played and you grinded out whatever you had to do to get those, like the punt, the spike, whatever those exact rewards were when Operation 3 first dropped. I don't think you should go back and get those, because those were limited time special event playlist type things, not something that was unlockable through a certain amount of time through the operation.
See, Ace asked about the Op 3 escape rewards.
They
don't
haven't
complete
said
sets.
anything about
They
that.
haven't said anything.
Yeah. What do you guys
Dana
think?
said he would check with the team.
Because okay, I know what that
Okay,
means.
well, whatever.
Yeah, because I'm still missing mine too.
Yeah, I don't have everything either, even though I've mastered almost every hive. So
Yeah.
I'm only missing like 2 or 3 hives on master.
So, one thing that we've avoided discussing so far about the economy and how we're earning all of these credits is the fact that you need to use those, or you can use those to purchase the skill cards. So like the Tour of Duty gives you a ton of Gears points and it's great, and that mostly benefits the PvP people because they have nothing else to spend the Gears points on. The people who are PvE purist, they might want to buy some skins and emotes for some of the COG characters and stuff. They're not buying any of the Swarm stuff probably, but then they have to buy the Gears cards or the skill cards. And then people like myself who tries to play both, I'm mostly PvP right now, but I try to play both modes. It really sucks for me because I want to buy all the Swarm stuff, all the COG stuff, some skill cards, and yeah.
I guess that's where we go back and go into what Jess was saying, where we have your legend rank grind and you just play the game every day and get your 750. Whether you think that's fair enough, I'm not sure how to determine that just yet because it's still new.
Yeah.
But I would say if you just play the game, you'll get it. But for those that are PvE, it's a double whammy because you get skill cards already just by completing it, or playing more than 5 waves of Horde, for example, or doing a chapter and escape. And then you get to go use your Gears coins to upgrade your cards fairly. So you can get max cards fairly quickly now.
Yeah.
If you just play and you play at a higher level, or you speed run, or whatever it is that you want to do in Horde or Escape.
Okay.
But those that play balanced, what are you chasing? Are you chasing coins? Because if you want to chase coins, I can tell you go watch the videos to go do escape speed runs and get your medal dailies done, and you'll be good because you don't really get a lot of points as you rank up. For example, if you're not chasing your dailies and those type of rewards, login rewards type things.
Let's see. So another thing that we've avoided talking about, which Neon, I know you were vocal about before, boost. So,
whatever.
What does boost do now? Boost doubles your stars. That's still really good, especially with the Gears, the legend rank now.
Yeah.
So that does add a lot of value. You level up faster, which nobody really cares about leveling up faster. You level up your characters faster, which people really care about until they get up to a certain level
18.
and then they don't care. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you are no longer getting your supply at a higher rate. Is that the main thing that they got rid of? Or is that the only thing they got rid of?
That was the only thing they got rid of. Okay. And the only thing that there was a response to that I'm aware of was that on the back end they do something to, I don't know, figure it out for you. I don't know what that means. There was no clarity or definition, but long story short is, I guess the only thing that the back end can actually mean is legend rank, where you're getting 750 a day, which maybe that's fair, but I don't know. I haven't had enough time to figure that out yet. But I would say that for those that are completionists, boosts, it does, like for me, I would like to get all the achievements in every Gears of War game. I've done it all the way up until Judgment.
Good luck. Good luck.
Well, agreed. But there's also a thing there is the Coalition wants to put out all these achievements, but they don't run any double character experience for those that are non-boosted. They don't run any double, they did one and it was busted in February.
Yeah.
It didn't even work. They didn't work. So boost is just a way to get money, and they only remove one perk. They haven't been very clear about how they're going to make up for, if they have made up for the remove of supply drops. I think it's just a way to speed up your progression in the game now, and of course redoing your legend rank faster. I think that's really about it now.
I think that, yeah. I think that for players who don't reach legend and keep going, they're at a net loss from the removal of that scrap and supply stuff.
Yeah,
but for those of you who keep going and keep getting that legend stuff day after day, I think that the boost will probably pay off and be worth it. I mean, if you were buying boost in the past. I'm not someone who has ever purchased boost, so I'm going to continue not to buy boost.
I've been boosted pretty much since the beginning of time in this game. I was obviously one of the most vocal ones, along with some other people around this issue too, along with the conversion issue. Like, it kind of went in hand, in my opinion. I just the fact that they're removing it's just communication. Like, they're not giving any clear way. Like, here's what this actually means for those that are boosted. Like, yeah, they probably already thought about it, but they're not giving out the meaning. So
they can't talk about it.
It's up to you to go figure out what it actually means to you as the individual, I guess.
Yeah, to go away from the tour real quick, the new achievements they put in are pretty ridiculous.
The 100,000 kills in multiplayer?
Yeah, like, and Dana was like, well, we want that to be specific, and people, like, they don't want to open it up to every mode because then it wouldn't be fair.
Seriously,
like,
2.0 was 100,000 kills.
Yeah.
And we had to lock radio.
Kill the Brumac level a million times, and tell me that's not dedication. And then you do seriously 3.0, for example.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And then he's talking about, I mean...
He hasn't unlocked them.
Yeah, and then we know they're going to add a re-up 50 achievement, and then Dana's talking about they may do more re-ups, and I'm thinking, what's the next seriously going to be? Get re-up 100, get 1,000,000 kills, get this, it's like, just open it up for everybody. You're only catering to people that play King of the Hill religiously. That's it. That's the only people that'll probably get it.
Yeah. Retro says... Retro was asking about boost going real time versus player time, thinking that it being real time is pretty dumb. So my response to that would be, by them having it in real time rather than play time, it allows them to encourage people to keep coming back and playing. It encourages you to come back and get back in the game. If I had it as playtime versus real time at the beginning, when I had a bunch of boosts sitting in my account from launch, I probably wouldn't have kept grinding day after day to make sure I got as far as possible with that boost. So I think it's just an incentive to keep people coming back.
Does the boost affect, like, the time, the stars you get after a match? Does boost affect that at all?
No. Unless it increases the time, but I don't believe so.
Okay.
What's also, we also talk about, since we're talking about like re-ups and stuff, I don't want to go too far off the trail here because I think this is our last topic before we wrap up. So what's interesting is, though, we're talking about re-ups and how boost works, but then you have your ally system rework,
which is still broken.
I haven't even got
the achievement's broken.
That was dumb. Like, what? Come on, man. Sometimes I just don't have words for it, because it's like I try to be positive about the other sections, but then there's things that they could easily just adjust, and they won't do it. It's just anything that's counterproductive to TC's pocketbooks, and I hate being this type of guy. Sometimes, like with boost, that's real money flowing into the game. They're not going to give it to you. Call of Duty doesn't do it. Call of Duty doesn't give you a double XP or whatever. Like, it's only 15 minutes from the minute you activate it, for example, and that's all you get. But I think it should be like, if you don't play it for a certain amount of time, you should not, especially in Gears. Gears is Gears. That's just the problem. The fact that it just 24/7, it's just slowly diminishing, just kind of sucks, because, ugh.
Yeah, and when they have so many server issues.
Yeah, and that was the thing when the game launched. If you got the Ultimate Edition, you got 30 days of boost, and you couldn't get in the game.
It cost them nothing
to
give us 2 to 3 weeks of boost to make people happy between Operation 2 to 3. It did not hurt them. There's no reason that they don't give it to you more often. Like, they really are stingy with these. Like, Call of Duty Modern Warzone gives you, hell, even Black Ops 4, you can guarantee you're gonna have a double XP event almost every other weekend.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, you would think with the launch of an operation, be like, well, here's boost for the first week, and then
go level up Paddock. Here's some boost.
When Op 4 got delayed, which was inevitable, they should have been like, well, hey, here's boost. Finish up your tour if you need.
Yeah.
And also, if you have boost, somebody said this in a chat, if you have boost already applied and they unlock boost for everybody, you should get 4 times XP. I think that's a good point.
I think that's a fair assumption, because you're paying money to support the game. End of story. It's another way of paying to support, just like buying skins. But boost is very specific because you can only do it with real money, not coins now, right? So same thing with esports. You should be like really getting more of a perk to do that. I mean, your achievements, the way that they're structured, for example, re-up 50, I'll be here until the day I die trying to probably get that one, because I've been stuck on 17 or 18 for like 2 months now.
I just hit 10 yesterday.
So yeah, but I was doing a lot of the Surge speed runs back when it was going around, right?
Yeah.
It was just, and being boosted. So it's like, oh my gosh, like, benefit those that are boosted, and also don't talk about content. And I don't want to get off topic here, but we didn't talk about this with the store, so I just want to circle back before we go into conclusions and leave. There was discussions around COVID-19 related content, I believe. There's also been talks around Black Lives Matters content that has not, like, why talk about this stuff? But you say you don't want to talk about future content, and then it never comes out. Like, what?
They're very inconsistent in terms of, we don't talk about future content, except we'll say these things.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that stuff never, it's like, we don't want to talk about future content until we have it set in stone. And then so it's like, okay, fine, we'll hold you to that. They say something, and then they still don't deliver. It's like, what?
We will get coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever benefits once they find
Operation 3, Locust Arm Rip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Come on.
This is why I'm such a, like,
trailers.
was it pessimistic? Like, I'm not a Happy Gears fan. I want to play it. I want to be happy, but like, it's ruined me.
Yeah. It's hard not to be critical of them. So I think, and that's a good segue sort of into the whole wrapping up and conclusions type thing. It's like, overall, we needed Operation 4. It had a lot of really good stuff in it. Sure, there's some not so great stuff, but overall, it was really good, and it was really needed. The communication from the Coalition definitely needs to be improved. Hopefully, as they start expanding out their community team, it will be. But, yeah, I think overall this was a net positive for the game. I'm curious to see what people are thinking in 2 months' time. So...
Yeah, I agree with that. Everybody's in a honeymoon phase right now, and I mean, a lot of stuff's good. I'm not going to complain. I'm really, really happy with the PvE stuff. But a month, 2 months from now, we'll see where we're really at.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go around the room. We'll go Neon, then Cheese, then Jess, and myself. Just any final thoughts, and then also, if you're on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever, just let people know. We'll also put your links down below for anyone watching this on YouTube.
Cool. Well, I'll just say, Operation 4 overall is a win, but it is about laying the framework for what's coming in the future, whether that's positive, negative. No one knows, because everything's inconsistent. The one thing I do ask is to allow more of the community to be on their developer streams if they want to do that. I like what they did with Domes and Shadows and having them on there. That was really cool because it made it more enjoyable to watch, because these are people that we obviously interact with. I would like to have more of that with well-known members throughout to make the streams more interesting, and to actually maybe get some questions answered instead of it being kind of vague all the time. And to clear up the communication, I know that there's probably more people in the communications department than what we give credit to. Some are more vocal than others, and I want to give a shout out to Guy Welch because he will usually say, "Hey, we dropped the ball." You don't hear that from other people, and I'm not going to spit out names, but having Xbox guy that's been around with Gears since the launch of basically Gears 1 admit, like, hey, we just missed the mark, but we're going to do our best to fix that. I like the fact that there's members at the coalition or at Xbox in particular, both speaking out on issues like that that are not Dana. So that makes me feel good, and just to keep expectations and keep them not overly high, because, like Jess said, everybody's been burnt over the last year. There's still things that were promised for Gears 4 that haven't come to happen, such as the flaming skins achievements. Like, no one knows what's going on with that. There's games on life support on PC. As a PC player myself, there's games that need to be fixed, such as Ultimate Edition. It's unplayable. You can't find matches, and while it's a couple of years old now, it's getting a title update with the Series X. I would like to learn more about that, and if there's any plans to allow players to go back and play that game. And, just to give proper feedback and stop asking for maps and skins, because they're coming. So if you got something to say, just please just use things that are not been asked a million times, and let's actually get the game going in the right direction like it appears to be. Yeah. And so I'm on Twitter, YouTube, mainly Twitch. Sometimes I stop streaming as much because because of the because of everything. Hold on one second, let me get this.
Yeah. And so, like I said, everyone, I'll have his Twitch, his Twitter, his YouTube, everything linked down below. So you guys can go check that out.
I need 2 minutes.
Sorry. Yep, that's all I had.
All right, Cheese.
Yeah, I think Op 4 is a really good groundwork, and like I've been saying, a lot of good PvE changes. Really excited to jump back into more of it and see the new meta, see how it shifts, and ready for some new escape hives. If the achievements are any indication, there looks to be some interesting changes to escape. Yeah. Maybe. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the delinking of the classes and the characters, and see how that goes. I'm excited for the future of that. Hopefully they continue to add more classes and not use it as a cop out. And to hit on what Neon said, I really would like for them on these streams to just be more than just Dana. Like, we need somebody there when they did domes and shadows, especially shadows, because Dana misinterprets questions all the time, doesn't understand it, and shadows corrected it and explained it in a way so he can understand it. You need back and forth, really, and I think that's one thing that the streams have been missing, and it's really been lacking since Liam's been gone. But I hope that when he's talked about having streams with Michael and with Jonathan Taylor again, hopefully they get somebody from the community on there to ask some harder questions, hard-hitting questions. And please stop asking the 905 questions about maps and characters and TDM coming in ranked. It's not. Just stop. So that's my main thing. So, but I'm real happy. I stepped away from PvP for a while, and I'm actually enjoying playing Guardian right now and quick play. It's been fun, and the changes to the store have been real nice. I actually loaded up on some character skins I never would have got, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at CheeseCutta. Chaps put the link in there. I'm usually on there all the time, and I actually do stream on Twitch, twitch.tv CheeseCutta. I stream NCAA Football Dynasty right now. I may actually start getting back into streaming Escape and Horde, do some runs, and maybe do some with some of you guys in the chat if you want to. So
cool. All right, Jess, anything to say?
Well, I overall I am very happy with the direction of Op 4, so I look forward to playing more, possibly getting back into PvE again. But I hope I'm this happy in a couple months, like we all mentioned. So we'll see, and I really do hope Op 5 delivers. And you can find me on Twitter at Jessel. It's right there. below. So, yeah.
And doing all the graphics for
I do
this
graphics.
this stream overlay and all the videos that I edit. She does all the graphics for that.
No big deal. I do
Yeah.
graphics.
I like being behind the scenes.
Yeah. So just to echo on some of the stuff you said about the developer streams, they really do need to have fans on there. Even if they have a studio guest on, have a fan on there to help reiterate and bring up the real questions and follow up on stuff. And then also getting gameplay going for it. Dana says like he doesn't want to play because one, he's probably not that great, but he can't concentrate on playing the game and answering the questions. Well, there's Xbox Live. He can host and just be in a spectator slot and have the lobby fill up with other people, or have one of the people who's off screen, like one of the people running the stream in the background, they can host the lobby and just be in a spectator slot and let people run around and play with each other. Have Strangulate or any of the people in the studio host the lobby. It doesn't need to be Dana. He can just get gameplay on screen. But so just want to say thanks to all of you guys for joining. Thanks to Ace in chat over here. He hosted a panel right before the launch of Operation 4. I've been thinking about bringing these discussion streams back for quite a while now, and I just never wanted to pull the trigger on them. I wasn't sure how people would receive it, but Ace hosted one, and it went over pretty well, and it's like, alright, I think I want to start doing these again. So if you guys are interested, let us know. Probably try and have you two on again. And we'll be rotating in community members, trying to get this to be a semi-regular thing where we can just discuss the current state of the game. It probably won't be 2 hours long next time. It was pretty long this time just because of Operation 4, but yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of these, and I thought today was a really good discussion. So thanks for joining, guys.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. We had a couple good questions in the chat today. If any of you guys missed parts of this, the video will be up on YouTube in the nearest future whenever I get around to uploading it. I'll be sure to tweet that out. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you guys later. See ya.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Later.